Okay, we are live. Let's make sure everything is working properly. Hello, everyone. Very busy pre-stream chat today. I think this is the most people that have ever been here beforehand. Nice to see. It's a lively community. Glad to see everyone's having a good time. Everyone's talking about Nick All-Stars. I wish I could say I'm excited for it, but I can't. I'm excited for the idea of it, if that makes any sense. Oh, Camp has a... How did you do that, actually? Oh, it's probably because of the membership stuff. That's neat. Cool. I'm doing alright. Can I be honest? Very, very tired. So much on the plate. Not much time for a rest, but very much looking forward to this stream because I just need a break. Spider-Man 2 has all of Radfarius' attention. Don't have a PS5, so I can't experience it myself, but I have been watching Maximilian Dude play through it, which has been a delight. Gotta say, for as much as I'm loving the look of the game, I can't stand the Peter Parker new face for him. That's kind of a... It's just less expressive, and it's weird to me how they changed it so much. I'm not a fan, not a fan. An unfortunate blemish. I think it would be funny if you named Peasant's Perspective episodes after Star Wars movies. Well, the thing about that is that there's only, like, 6 other options. But yeah, I probably should at some point. That's an easy poll to go for. Carson's just about to 100% Mario Wonder. I have been playing it. I will talk about it more in the Peasant's Perspective episode. But it's been bizarre. Just kind of this realization of, like, while I really love the various creativity at play, I think on a fundamental level, I just don't enjoy Mario games very much. It's weird. I need to get my thoughts together about it, but something about the series, I don't know if it's the gameplay or the world building or just how every story is the same, but something's not clicking for me. Oh, thank you, Crimson Raider. Appreciate that tremendously. Miss the old Peter's eyebrows. Exactly! It's the eyebrows! He had so much more face to work with. They swapped to the most generic-looking white dude when they had such an expressive face to work with. It's just, ugh. Anyway, it is 1 p.m., which means it is time for us to start properly. Okay, let me get the music set up. Oh, this is a good song. Alrighty. Starting with one of the channel's beloved artists, we have Carson's idea for... Whoops. Hold on, that's not supposed to be there. Nope, this is not Flashy Star Wars presentation. Oh, hold on, I forgot to change this. Just kind of... Say 1 second, technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. Mario Kart Frenzy from Carson. Let's not waste any time and get straight to the chase. The Mario Kart games are one of the most beloved Nintendo titles from both a critical and financial view. However, such a status has left the developers to not really innovate the concept of what it can be since the mid-2000s. Sure, each game's new features and gimmicks has helped the series stay fresh, but it's starting to feel repetitive. Plus, some elements from previous games have been left out or watered down due to accommodating for future titles' ideas. It's ultimately left for a series that, while is super consistent, feels a bit lacking in innovation. However, it seems we are entering a new era for Mario Kart Tour, and the BCP experimented a lot with the tracks, for better or for worse, and the latter allowing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to be considered the definitive game in terms of content. So who knows, maybe they'll try something that greatly expands upon the series' core ideas, which is exactly why I wanted to propose this pitch, to present a what if and how Nintendo can make this series stand out like never before. The goal with this concept is to make a new entry that evolves the core concepts of Mario Kart, the racing itself, and the characters/items. However, the appeal of said core is also its accessibility, so it's best to not overcomplicate what's already been established. With all this in mind, it would be strategic to reuse assets and elements from 8 Deluxe and Tour to set a foundation for this new game. This won't be a booster course pass situation, as stuff like models, textures, animations, etc. would be greatly enhanced/changed to match this game's graphics and art style. In addition, since each entry likes to have some sort of hook, I would propose the idea of character-specific items, now called Frenzy items, returning as the main hook. Yes, please, this was my... Double Dash is my favorite Mario Kart game, and it's almost... it's not entirely because of that, it's because it's the one I have the most fun with, but this was a huge part why. Made each character feel so much more... Like, you could show their personality through the items, you know? It was great. Let's start by focusing on the core racing experience. The general gameplay will remain the same. Up to 12 drivers race against each other, through usually 3 laps. Characters and vehicles will affect what stats the player has on the road, and items will help advance, maintain positions, mostly slowing down other players. This title will focus on tweaking/streamlining the series for a snappier pace while remaining accessible. Most effects, like spinning and toppling, will keep a player's momentum but momentarily lose control. The hurling effect is the only way a player's momentum will stop. Anti-gravity will return, but act as a toggle that can be used anytime rather than being another mode. Interesting! Anti-gravity will slightly decrease speed and acceleration stats to prevent players from using it the entire race. There will be a larger focus on the 3 main types of transportation, introduced back in the Mario Kart 7 driver mode, glider mode, water mode. These modes will have a larger role to play compared to 8 and 7, having the tracks be designed for players to pick and choose what mode they want to be in. So kind of a Diddy Kong Racing kind of deal, if I remember that game correctly. That's neat, I like that. And sets will have certain pros and cons depending on the mode. I really like the idea of this implementation of the anti-gravity, because that makes it a interesting toggle for when you're in a really packed raceway, because then you can just keep bouncing off of people to continuously get boosts. A fascinating way to, like, encourage colliding with other players. I like it. Racing modes. Driver mode. Speed and drift is most efficient here to counter the roundabout paths and abundance of hazards. Traction is also the most prominent in this mode, making traction very useful, as, you know, you have wheels. Use anti-gravity to drive up any nearby walls, ceiling, and even over bodies of water. Ooh! Oh, that's fun! So that adds an extra fun touch to the water gimmick by having players that can either go underneath or above. That's cool, I like that! Driver mode will be the only way to use all 3 drift boosts, taking a lot more time to activate compared to 8 Deluxe. You can't drift in glider mode, and the swimmer can only reach the second. We got the glider mode. Despite being the slowest in speed, glider paths are usually straightforward. Weight plays a big factor in this mode. Affects how fast a player descends, and a heavy character can knock most light characters out of glider mode. Again, a little more emphasis on actually colliding with players, which you don't get much of in Mario Kart, apart from, like, the obvious, you have, wow, English. You have shells circling around, you want to collide into them. Which I wish they did a little bit more of, because it's so fun to just crash into people as Bowser and watch them go flying. Controls will be more flexible, feeling closer to Mario Kart 7's design. Ascending after swooping down will return as well. With no drifting in glider mode, ZL-ZR will instead slow players down and rotate them. Descent will still occur. As this happens, letting go will slowly resume back to max speed, and its effectiveness will be based on what the player's handling stats are. In driver mode, holding ZL, ZR on any major trick ramp will open glider mode. And then you got the water mode. Almost any body of water can now be used to race in, even if it appears off-road. Usually netting or the landscape itself will distinguish where the out-of-bounds area is. Player stats will change when entering water mode. Max speed takes longer, making acceleration more prominent, and weight is a bit neutralized, reducing knockback from bumping. Any jump when tricking will also extend higher. Lighter characters will have higher jumps compared to heavier characters, and tricking out of the water will allow players to either ride the waves via R— ooh, that's fun! Or activate glider mode via ZL, ZR. Players can still switch to anti-gravity, being able to drive up walls if they wish to leave the water. Also got a combo system. Alongside the focus on switching between racing modes, a combo system will be added to the mainline series based on the concept from Tour. Now, I'm not familiar with Tour. The game will keep track of the player's actions, setting up a string of combos when performed back-to-back. After reaching a certain combo number, players are rewarded with a token. Some combo actions include tricking, collecting coins, destroying items, hitting players, etc. After a certain amount of time, the combo will reset, and the combo number required will change depending on what the player's positions start the combo. Okay. Tokens are a special currency that will grant players to get new reroll items by holding the L button. Players can hold 3 tokens at max. If they have all 3, they can spend on a guaranteed frenzy. Okay! This is neat! A nice little extra layer on top of the basic gameplay. And this was added to add another layer of strategy, with tracks designed to have long cuts that help boost combos. Alright, controls are Mario Kart controls, but with the added rerolling items on and off of the anti-gravity. Basic stuff the rest of the way. Now let's focus on the other core of Mario Kart, the characters, vehicles, and items. The roster for Mario Kart, for many, has felt very stagnant. It absolutely has. Some established characters have a hit or miss chance of returning, a lot of filler picks to pad out the roster, and there's a lack of sub-series reps compared to the other spin-offs. Luigi, Donkey Kong, Wario, etc. This game will try to fix this issue. I did forget to link the documents. God, 1 second. I went so long without realizing it too. Hold on. Mario Kart. Click that. Share. Copy link. There we go. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, where was I? This game will try to fix these issues with the game's 45 characters of both returning and new faces. Most characters are taken from 8 Deluxe and Tour, but over 10 characters will be introduced for the first time. Some characters will be alts now, and most newcomers represent factions of the greater Mario series. What, are you telling me that Metal Mario is no longer his own roster slot? Iconic, beloved Mario character, Metal Mario? Just disrespecting the Smash Bros. Representation like that. That's an iconic mini-boss. The Nintendo All-Star roster from 8 will return, but only 4 franchises will be repped, each having 2 characters. However, only 20 characters, including Mii's, will be available from the start. The rest are earned via achievements and the newly added shop. Most of the Frenzy items will still be available at the start, and these achievements can be found all across the game modes available. Okay, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Wario, Yoshi, Pauline, Donkey Kong, the baby Marios together. Nice. Or is that all of those alts? Regardless, EGAT, how? I think of all emissions in Mario Kart, this one drives me nuts the most. How have we not had EGAD? I don't get it. Got the Toads. Got just a penguin, sure. Luma, Waluigi, Poochie, Cranky, Diddy, Dixie, Chargin, Chuck, Kamek, Ashley. Again, another just how has this not happened? Hammer Bro, Shy Guy, Bowser, Koopa, Goomba, Cappy, Foreman Spike, That's actually sick. I love that. Bit of a left field pick, but I dig it. I dig it. Bowser Jr., King Bob-omb, King Boo, Petey Piranha, Birdo, Nabbit, Funky Kong, Link, Zelda, Villager, Isabelle, Inkling, Octoling, Captain Falcon, and Black Shadow. Oh, Captain Falcon with an... I'm assuming what the item sign next to him is the item they get. And just having Falcon and Black Shadow with a fist as their item, that makes me excited. That makes me happy. Just the concept alone. Just like before, vehicles will have 3 main components. You got the body, the wheels, and the glider. At the start, you can only use a predefined vehicle to race. Each part of a set will match with... English is hard. With matching a character or certain theme, you'll start with the basic set for each body types, unlocking more via modes and the shop. Later on, you can unlock customization to change the vehicle parts however you like. Will automatically unlock after obtaining 10 vehicle sets. There will be a customized section both in the main menu and when you select your vehicle. You can save your creations, which can be chosen alongside the predefined sets. Both returning and new items will be added to the game, resulting in a total of 40 items. 18 normal, 22 friends. That would be so, gosh, the meta around a game like that would be so healthy. Just the sheer amount of variety you could choose between with all the characters you have access to. I already want something like this. Double item slots will return, now with the ability to swap which item you have with the L button. As usual, you can get set items from the item boxes or collect the tokens to get new or re-roll items. The percentage of getting a frenzy item from an item box will depend on what the item is and what position you're currently in. As mentioned before, each driver will have a frenzy item that represents their character/series. Each frenzy will be shared by 2 racers, usually having different weights. Mii's are the exception, having a different frenzy based on the suit worn. This is actually fantastic. My favorite characters in Double Dash were Bowser and Bowser Jr., DK and Diddy Kong, because you had access to their items but on 2 completely different weight classes. You had a lot of variety in how you could use them, which was so cool. Got the normal stuff, we got the coins, we got the bananas, mushrooms, triple mushrooms, fake boxes. A brick block will stop a player's speed and momentum when ran into. Can be placed on ground, in the air, touch any item, player. Interesting! That's kind of fun. So it's not as detrimental as, say, a fake box. Well, actually, no, that actually could be more detrimental than either of these two. Because you kind of still keep a little bit of momentum with these ones. But if you run headfirst into a brick block, that's just an instant... You've stopped. You're done. I like that. That's fun. I will say, I hope... Actually, I should probably collect a coin or increase speed limit or roll an item. Max limit of 10 for coins. Okay, that... Because, I don't really like the coins in 8. It just feels bad to get one from an item box. But if you can actually use them to re-roll your items, that gives it a little extra... a little more to them. Mushrooms phase through the brick items. I realize I should probably actually read these in case they different... Wow! English is hard today. I'm sorry. The fake box now shrinks people for a few seconds. That's fun. And the rest of these work the way you would expect them to. We got the fire flower. This game allows only 2 balls sequentially, just like 2D Mario, but they're now bigger and leave fire hazards. Okay, so kind of, I'm picturing like galaxy-sized fireballs that are bouncing around. That could be fun. We got the boomerang flower. It does the boomerang stuff. Collecting coins before our turns. Was that a thing in 8 Deluxe? I can't remember. But if not, that's awesome. Got the super leaf that swipes around the players, destroying the majority of items. Also lets them instantly ascend into glider mode. That's neat. Okay. Got the double... Please see you can stack these. That would be so funny. You just keep getting like 5 double cherries in a row. Just imagine coming along around a bend, and there's just a wall of Bowsers preventing anybody from getting past them. That would be so fun. Superstar does the superstar stuff. Bob-bombs explode. Super horns destroy everything. Lightning shrinks people, and the bullet bill is a bullet bill. Now we get to the frenzy stuff. Giant Banana is like the Double Dash variant, although it splits in... I think it was 3 instead of 4 prior, so this is a bit of a buff. Golden Mushroom does the infinite mushrooms, as it does before. We got the Mega Shroom to get to super big. Got a yellow shell. Oh, I wish I could... Just a small bit of feedback from a presentation standpoint. I wish there was a little icon over each of these items showing which character had access to them, because I can't quite remember who had what. Once done, the shell bounces around across the track with a single touch causing a giant shockwave. Okay, so it's an area of effect screen shell. Okay, cool. Got the Bowser shell, best item. I love the Bowser shell in Double Dash. It's so fun. Ice Flower is ice. Each bounce leaves ice terrain to make slippery. That's fun. We have the Giga Bomb, a huge bomb that bounces across the track, squishing anything and creating a giant explosion. So just a Bowser shell that explodes at the end. That's sick. We got the hearts from Double Dash, grabbing... Ooh, you can grab frenzy items too. That's fun. Egg acts like a red shell, but is thrown in the air and will release 3 random items. We got the Boo, makes the user invisible, immune to hazards, and will steal an item. Piranha Plant is the Piranha Plant, pops in front of the user, chomps on anything it sees. We got the Chain Chomp, that's also another fantastic one. We got the Magic Wand. Okay, starting to get to new stuff now. Slowly targets a player, turning them into an enemy hazard, changes their speed/hitbox, hitting an item, player will revert the magic. Interesting. So does that mean, if I'm reading this correctly, do you just slowly turn into like a green shell racing around the track, or are we talking more like stage hazard stuff like the Monty Moles on Moo Moo Meadows? Either way, that's awesome. I love that. We got the hammer, can attack nearby players, creating huge knockback or throw, and overturn far-off players. We got the bubble gum, sure. Acts as a single layer or defense from any items or hazards, fly over pits in driver, water mode, and will attain altitude. Oh, okay. So it's kind of anti-gravity without the detriments of anti-gravity. If you're going over... That's neat, I like that. We have the dash ring. Instead of 5 rings appear, giving a boost when passed through. Clearing all 5 will add 3 more, shrinking in size. This repeats until... Also fun. Love that. Whoops. Barrel. 2 barrels are thrown, following the track. If a player gets hit, they get stuck in the barrel, having to drive with terrible handling. Okay, the mental image for that's phenomenal. Sorry, I keep hitting my mouse wheel on accident. We got the Poltergust, can suck up items, enemy hazards, and even players. Once full, the players can shoot the Poltergust either in front or behind them. Oh, I love the ability to shoot players with other players. That's another fantastic one. We got Stasis for Zelda and Link. Any item or hazard can be frozen, but the item remains in the item slot until released. Any momentum will be carried once released if players ran into it. Okay, so you're kind of sacrificing one of your item slots to keep... Like say you see a Bowser shell in front of you, you barely dodge around it, and you just freeze it in the center of the track. which means the next person that comes around is going to have a really bad time, as they're going to have to swerve tremendously to avoid this giant obstacle that's just stuck there. That's really cool. I like that. Got a pitfall. Once thrown, a little pile of dirt will appear. Running into it will bury a player, forcing it to either hold A or use a super leaf and mushroom. So again, just another way of instantly stopping people in their tracks. That's really good. We've got the Ink Storm. A storm made out of ink will rain on the track. Anyone in the storm that races through it will be slowed down as if they were on the off-road. So kind of like the... Well, no, it's not like the blooper at all. It's just a very... It's an area effect, slow effects. Okay, cool. And then just the power of Captain Falcon's fist. Unleash a fierce punch that moves the user with no dissent, destroys any items, and hurls any players. However, there's a 3-second delay, and the users lose speed after. That's fine. Just a big Hail Mary punch forward. Love it. Kind of turns into a skill shot with how much delay is behind it. And just the fear. Because I assume that this comes with like a giant audio cue that lets the people in front of you know exactly what's coming. So you've got that kind of panic when you see a blue shell or bullet bill icon pop up on the bottom of the screen. There's just a fist, and you know that, oh gosh, I'm about to get sent flying. Got the game modes with core gameplay of Mario Kart enhanced. Let's move on to the game modes. The types of modes available in the modern games can be very hit or miss, either removing some modes entirely or watering them down significantly. In addition, there are some concepts found in other kart racers, like Diddy or Crash, that have never been attempted with Mario, like a story mode. Mario Kart Frenzy will be a game that takes all the most prevalent modes found across the series and retool them to fit with this game's mechanics, alongside adding a couple of entirely new modes. The game modes available will be categorized into 3 areas: single, local, online, and others. Single and local play will be where the series' most iconic modes will appear, being able to play them by yourself or with any nearby friends. And this is where one of the big brand new modes will make their debut, Story Mode. The following will be available in this section: racetracks, drive across a large variety of tracks, either against others or by yourself; battle rallies, defeat your opponents in unique 4 modes across various arenas; and the story mode, complete challenges and even boss levels to create your own racing team. And of course, local tournaments, customize your own rules for unique tournaments, including LAN play. Online, if you get lose $20 in your pocket, or however much Nintendo's online services will cost, then online will be available for you to try out, being able to do race, battle, and set up tournaments with others available around the world. To replace story mode, there will be 2 online exclusive modes that will change each week to encourage replayability: online challenges and Grand Tour. I like stuff like this. So long as they are guaranteed to come back at some point, I love this sort of rotating game style mode, like what Heroes of the Storm used to have. Just a little goofy, like, okay, everybody gets to play as Bowser now, or something like that. It's great. Bowser Shell only item modes. The following will be available in this section: regional and worldwide events, race against others across the globe, online challenges, play bit-sized challenges to be rewarded, changes every week. The Grand Tour competes weekly for the high score across select tracks and arenas, and the global tournaments are global tournaments. The other stuff, these modes don't involve the actual racing, and instead is more focused on side features of the game. They're stuff you don't need to check out every day to be rewarded, but can be helpful setting up your preferences, find new gear, or get footage of previous races. The following will be available. You got the shop, run by Lakitu, searching for a new character or vehicle, then come right in. The garage is where you customize your vehicles. The MKTV Studios is where you look back at its replay features. And of course, you got your options. With the basic overview of the game's modes explained, let's look into some of them with more detail. In the racetrack sections, there will be 3 submodes to pick from, 3 standard and 1 new addition. Grand Prix, adventure across 4 cups to gain the gold trophy. Elimination series, stay ahead of the pack and don't fall behind. Time trials are time trials. and custom races let you race however you feel like. Many have complained about the lack of customization options available in Mario Kart, and while it's been improving with each entry, there's still room to improve. You could have different objectives, reaching first, having the highest combo, hit as many players. Yes, please. Oh, that would be so much fun. Gosh, how has that not happened before? Like, that would be such a fun yet simple way of just adding so much more depth to the game. Come on. Got teams or no teams, item customization, turn on and off the timer, computer difficulty, vehicle selection, and round count. After Aiden Tour's large quantity of tracks, 16 nitros and retros each can feel a bit underwhelming, which is why more tracks will be added over time akin to the booster course packs. I tried to say pack and pass at the same time, and that just did not come out well. With that said, we'll be increasing the number of tracks for both nitros and retros from 16 to 20, aka 40 tracks at the game's launch. Nitros will take full advantage of the new changes made, having various paths that diverge for the different racing mode. Various short and long cuts will be included to create a risk-reward for the combo system. The retro selected will be updated to include more options to better support the adjustments made to the gameplay, avoiding a BCP situation where some tracks don't feel like they fit as well. Entirely new routes and paths will be added to encourage players to decide what racing mode they want to endure. Fun. At the end of the game, the track selection will be doubled, containing 40 nitros and 40 retros for a total of 80 tracks. Base nitros, we've got Mario's Home Circuit, Toad Town, Delfino Resort, Good Egg Galaxy, Petal Isles, Wrecking Site, Birdo Theatrics, nice, Yellowstone Terrace, Lakitu Skies, Luigi, yes! Luigi Casino, that's a top tier pick. Chevalier is an obvious pull. Kind of surprised they didn't add that as DLC. That's kind of a no-brainer for 8. Diamond City, DK Kingdom, Paranormal Productions, another no-brainer there. Awesome. Tank Brigade, Seoul... I can never say that city's name right. Seoul Square, Cairo Carriageway, EGAT Industries, Bowser Keep, and of course, Rainbow Road. Well, the retros, we got Moo Moo Farm, Choco Island, Shy Guy Bazaar, Toad's Factory, Hyrule Circuit, Koopa Beach, Sydney Sprint, M. What? Why M? Am I forgetting something that's just named M? Or is this incomplete? Regardless. Luigi Circuit, Mario Stadium, Yoshi's Island, Makawoohoo, Mushroom City, Piranha Pipeline, Super Bell Subway, Airship Fortress, Bangkok Rush, Dry Ruins, Bowser Castle 4, and the game... Yes, the GameCube one! That's the best one! I love this tunnel here. It feels so good going up that tunnel. Must have been a mess up. Nah, it's okay. M is my favorite Mario Kart track. DLC nitros, we've got the Ancient Lake, Garden of Hope, so that all in One's DLC too. Nice. Woolly World, Bob-omb Battlefield, Toadette's Music Room, Goomba Woods, New Horizons, Inkopolis Tour, Shining Falls, Ashley's Mansion, Retro Wave, Paper Mario. Yes, my favorite Paper Mario location. I assume this is another... Actual Paper Mario, Hawaii Highway, Death Mountain, New Donk City, Corneria, Darklands, Bowser Carnival, and Port Town. DLC retros, Mario Kart Circuit Remix, Daisy Hill, Woolly World, Bob-omb Battlefield. This might not be loading correctly. That might be the case for some of these. But you know what? M and H, best Mario Kart tracks. Gotta love them. Animal Crossing, Cheap Island, Inkopolis Tour, Shining Falls, Vanilla Lake Remix, Death Mountain, Paper Mario, Yoshi Desert, DK Jungle Parkway, New Donk City, Big Blue, Banshee Boardwalk, Wario Shipyard, Bowser Carnival, and Bowser's Castle. Also the GameCube one, because those are the best. Love it. Oh, don't worry, Carson. It just adds to the charm. This is already phenomenal. Battle mode has usually been shafted for the racetracks due to lacking rule set customization and maps, but Frenzy will help to try to even the balance by adding more content to now called Battle Rallies. Battle Rallies will offer all the base customization offered in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as well as new features. This includes teams, item customization, timer length, computer difficulty, vehicle selections, battle modes, and round count. Gosh, a 50-round battle rounds. There will be 5 battle modes, 4 returning and 1 new. Got your balloon battle, you got your coin runners, Shine Thief, Renegade, I love Shine Thief so much. Renegade Roundup, and Pipe Ball. Score balls into various moving pipes to score points. Fun! I like the sound of that. We got the returning battle modes. Oh, thank you, Crimson Raider! Such generosity. Really appreciate it. Returning battle modes will have some changes, additions to better fit the tweaked gameplay, or added customization. Balloon Battle will become elimination-based if the timer is off, acting similar to its Mario Kart 64 rule set. In addition, customizing Balloon Battle, where only one item can be used, will turn the game into a Bob-omb Blast-like sub-mode and hold up to 10 items. Coin Runners will have Shine Runners like sub-mode if the timer is off, forcing players to reach a coin counter before the others or else be disqualified. Shine Thief is closer to its Mario Kart 8 version, will always have 2 or more shines, forcing players who have one of the shines to still play offensive. And if teams are turned off in Renegade Roundup, it becomes an infection-like game where the Renegade turns into the cop if caught. Fun! If players are disqualified in any of the elimination-based modes, they'll come back as an enemy hazard to control and hit other players. So you just get to wander around as a slow bomb trying to blow people up? That's great, I love that. In Pipe Ball, players must throw balls found on the map into various moving pipes. The smaller they are, the more points received. If the timer is off, one player must reach a certain score before the round concludes. And in teams, players will have to find their colored ball to grab, but can't knock away the opponent's balls. Like, gosh, Mario Kart could be so much more. Like, I know it's a beloved series, but like, look at all this. This is so much fun. The battle maps have never reached the number of racetracks throughout the series, but the amount of variety found through each battle mode helps nullify this issue, which is what Frenzy will expand upon. In terms of map selection, Frenzy's based selection will take inspiration from Mario Kart Wii, having 10 arenas to choose from, 5 Nitro and 5 Retro. The layout for each arena will be modified in some way based on what battle mode is selected. Boost trick panels, coins, and item boxes may appear in different spots, depending on what mode was selected. Some sections of the map might even be extended or prohibited to avoid it feeling like too big or small in the modes. In addition, just like the racetracks, more maps will be added over time. This will add another 5 Nitro and 5 Retro for a grand total of 20 battle arenas. The selection of maps will also emphasize a diverse array of themes and layouts to prevent fatigue, since there will be less arenas to choose from compared to racetracks. Challenges! This is Frenzy's version of missions from Mario Kart DS, containing all sorts of, well, challenges. For the uninitiated, challenges are a bunch of small objectives the game asks you to do, usually reworking a racetrack or battle rally to better fit the goal. There will be an assortment of new and returning challenges, which includes, but not limited to, Coin Collectors, Goomba Takedown, Glider Challenge, Combo Stacker, Ring Riders, and a Battle Royale. More challenges will be added alongside the game's update, so the challenges won't immediately get stale. In Frenzy, there will be 2 main methods of participating in these challenges: Story Mode and Online Challenges. Challenges in Story Mode, we'll come back to this later. Online Challenge will allow players to complete a new challenge every day, having a punch card filled out each time they succeed. Filling out the card will grant the player cool rewards like character alts. I like this. I like this a lot. Modern gaming has kind of started really dropping the ball in terms of, like, giving a nice flow of player rewards for their actions, mostly because it's just all stuck behind monetization now, so stuff like this I'm a huge fan of. It just feels good to unlock stuff, you know? For all the flaws Mario Kart Tour had, it was arguably the most ambitious by drastically changing the gameplay. I want to reuse that concept while fixing many of the game's issues by including a similar mode in Frenzy, allowing for more replayability and a stronger challenge for veterans. In Grand Tour, players will be tasked to complete a randomly selected racetrack battle rally and challenged to complete by the end of each week, scoring as many points as possible. These points will be gained similar to how the tokens were: tricking, collecting coins, item boxes, drifting, hitting opponents, etc. Players will be pitted against each other to collect the most points before the end of the week, moving on to the next tour. Based on your ranking, you'll receive rewards like character alts, Mii outfits, vehicle kits, etc. The adventure mode concept has rarely been touched by the Mario Kart series, if at all, but could expand the core formula done right. One way to create a concept is to take inspiration from all things the Super Nintendo World theme parks, where Team Mario and Team Bowser are preparing to race and you decide who to join. This would simply act as the motivation for the story to begin, but some changes would be made for like which characters speak and or aid you. That's fun. The main gameplay will be to complete a list of tests to upgrade your license in order to participate in the grand race. Feature all sorts of challenges and goals to complete before taking on a boss. This would include your usual time trials and CPU races, but also act as an expansion to mission mode from DS. Driving through rings, defeating a specific amount of enemies, racing backwards, win while always boosting, etc. This isn't just a basic tutorial, emphasizing on mastering the controls via challenges even veterans may struggle in. All of this will be contextualized into one big map for players to explore and drive, either taking place at Peach's or Bowser's Castle depending on what team you decide to join. Oh. One second. Is this the end of the... Oh, there's one more. It just was... For some reason, it just really didn't want to jump to the next one. And with that, my idea for a new Mario Kart game is completed. With this, I hope to make the series come back with a fresh sense. A large amount of content filled with modes, characters, and tracks. I do hope the series will take a similar path, but I'm just happy to see what comes next after Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Tour. I do apologize for how long this took, as it took me a while to figure out what my next concept was going to be after the Cranky Kong Smash Bros. Moveset, which was fantastic, by the way. If anybody hasn't seen that, go back and check that one out. I think it was the third episode? It was one of the first ones. On top of that, it actually took me a while to actually finish the presentation. Took a while to the point I decided to cut a few things. I don't know when I'll be returning back with a new concept, with my life being very busy right now, but I'm just glad I was able to provide a new concept after a year of being dormant. And that's it for now. Hope you all take care and stay warm out there, Duke and fellow peasants. That was absolutely delightful. I do enjoy the Mario Kart series, but it kind of falls into one of many Nintendo franchises that just kind of lacks a sense of ambition with their, general scope. So it's really nice to see that get really heavily explored for once. I enjoy this a lot. I just want to really quickly double check items. See if there's any phones here. Okay, yeah, obviously these two get the Poltergust. Dixie and the babies get the bubble. That's interesting. So Poochie gets the chain chomp. As if the dog wasn't powerful enough, it can double to become 2 dogs charging at once. That's great. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I would absolutely adore to see a Mario Kart game explore even a fraction of this. There's so much fun to be had. I am curious, Carson, do Mii's get access to any of the Frenzy items based on what you pick? That might have been detailed somewhere else. Because that's what I assume they would get, is just you can pick any which one that you desire. Or is there like a me-specific kind of deal? Or is it just random, like Boo and Pete Brano were in Double Dash? Also kind of curious about DLC characters. Oh no! It's gone! Oh, well, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh no, 10 out of 10. Absolutely loved reading through that. Okay. Get the next idea set up. Oh, this is a PDF. Interesting. Copy link. I'll remember to do this immediately this time. Also, swap over the music. So our second idea for the day comes from Willin46 with an idea for a paper Luigi game. Paper Luigi design ideas. Paper Mario game. The Thousand Year Door sequel. Sorry, I just... If I might provide a small amount of feedback, starting with options for save files is a very interesting decision for a first impression for a design document. But hey, I guess we're going chronologically here. There are 3 save files. Save files can be renamed, erased, and deleted at the player's will. Save files also have profile pictures. I don't know why this is so fun. I've never seen someone introduce a king concept like this. I'm just picturing like a Masahiro Sakurai going up to a board of directors in Nintendo, starts the slideshow for the next Smash Brothers game, and then just the first slide, save files. Okay. Okay, lots of numbers here. So, I'm gonna kind of just summarize stuff like this. So, yep, 3 difficulty options: easy, normal, hard. Can be changed at any point. Toggleable tutorials as well. This is something that just drives me nuts that more Nintendo games don't have. Like, come on. You realize that how much older your audience has gotten. Like, come on. Got the New Game Plus. From any completed save file, you can choose to carry over any of the following items, or start anew. I like that you can choose stuff like this. Again, the order of presentation is fascinating to me. But you know what? We're getting some good points in the chat. Like, this is stuff that Nintendo struggles with a lot, so it is kind of important to get this stuff settled up off the bat. Additional settings. After you beat the game on any setting file, you unlock a room in Mario and Luigi's house where you can talk to Waluigi at the beginning of the game. Okay. That's a hook. Paper Waluigi. They've never done a Paper Waluigi. Oh, I've never even thought about that. Like, just consider for a second, just the story-heavy settings of the Paper Mario series and what you could do with Waluigi. Oh, that's so fun. Oh, and he's how you get into, like, randomizers, or speedruns, or starting every battle with a random status element, which doesn't wear off. Maybe some star points. This is fun. Okay, okay. You can activate all of these... This is just Pact of Punishment from Hades, and I love it. Wario is also in this room, and talking to him lets you skip the intro prologue. Wario is just there to be impatient and get you into the main meat of the game. Okay. Battle system plays very similar to 64 and 1000 Year Door, the good ones, good. You play as Luigi with a partner, and turns alternate between you and the enemies. Each partner has HP, while the party has shared FP. You can execute action commands to increase damage and effectiveness of attacks. You can also block attacks to reduce damage taken by 1 to 3 points based on timing. Executing actions commands gives you SP, which can be spent on specials. You can EXP and level up, and you can upgrade HP, FP, or BP. Things removed from 1000 Year Door. Bingo, the audience. Oh, but that's fair, but that was fun. Super Guard and enemies holding items. Just getting some water real quick. Over the course of the game, you gain different SP styles. These let you change how Luigi and his partners gain SP. Each individual partner can be configured separately. Different styles award different amounts per action. These styles include: Standard is normal. Warrior only gains it from attacks. Guardian only gains it from blocking. Athlete gains it from stylish moves. Underdog from taking damage. Tactician gains it at the start of every turn. Performer only gets it from appealing, and Teammate only from encourages or using encourage for partners. Okay, gosh, I'm feeling a lack of Paper Mario knowledge on this, as I don't quite remember like how all of these work in the games. Oh no, it's up here. It's special points. Okay, that's fun. Just kind of a stance system almost. Gives a lot of replay value just for various boss fights and approaching things in different ways. I like it. That's a good point. That's a good point. Luigi doesn't have the audience system because he's completely overshadowed by his brother, and he's not exactly a theater packer. Nobody's gonna watch Luigi when Mario is next door. These are fair points. You're right. Specials consumes SP points. Max SP starts at 1 point, increases by 1 point after every chapter to a maximum of 8. Rather than having multiple specials that require different amounts of SP, Luigi can collect and equip star medals, which act similarly to badges but give specials. You can equip up to 4 by the end of the game. Each medal can be upgraded up to 3 times, granting additional levels and specials which consume more SP but have stronger effects. Partners also have specials which use the same SP as Luigi and get multiple levels upon level up. Again, it's not bad, but the order of what's being explained here is just so fascinating. Because we at this point we really gotta explain the Phoenix Down system. Okay, so revival items can't be used normally. They must be equipped on each party member. So, kind of a Zelda fairy kind of deal. They have various effects on revival, like healing different amounts and giving buffs. Oh! Ooh, that's actually kind of fun. So you can actually, like, depending on the kind of items, you can purposefully build a death strategy where you purposefully die several times to get all these buffs simultaneously. When a partner dies, they can choose to use the revivable item, which doesn't use up their turn, or they can remain in their fallen state. While the active partner is in this state, Luigi enters a revenge mode, where he gains +2 attack and defense. Fallen partners can also encourage Luigi, which gives him the equivalent of 2 appeals. But when Luigi falls, he will consume his revival item if he has one. Otherwise, if the active partner has one, they will automatically use theirs to revive Luigi. I'm just picturing. Gosh dang, I didn't share that. Thank you, Crimson Raider. I forgot to share that again. There we go. But yeah, I'm just picturing, just like going into a RPG. Wow, English. Going into a battle with like a bob bomb equipped and just dropping it at your feet immediately to kill both Luigi and the partner. And then just Luigi slowly gets back up with the Luigi death stare, red eyes. It'd be so good. Status effects are guaranteed to hit enemies unless they're immune. Status effects are guaranteed to hit players unless they block. We got your burns for DOT. We got your poisons for damage after every attack specifically. Freeze makes you unable to act but increases defense. Sleep becomes unable to act but regains HP. Crumple defense drops to 0. Soften increases damage taken. Shrink decreases attack power. Soggy. The soggy status effect. No, yeah, actually, no, I was kind of mocking this, but like, Paper Mario, if soggy paper, that's not good. Dizzying attacks have a 50% chance to miss. Confused actions have a 33% chance to be different than the one selected. And slow, only one act can be chained. No, can only act after every other turn. Beneficial stat. I will say that as delightful as it is to see a presentation placed forward in such a different way, this sort of bullet point is a bit harder to narrate. Special status effects include the following. Regenerate is regeneration. Attack and defense buffs are self-explanatory. Huge makes you big and nullifies shrink. Charge permanently increases attack. Fast is fast. Dodgy, it's an extra 15% chance to dodge. Electrified, direct attackers will take 1 damage. Counter performs an attack after being attacked, and invisible avoids all attacks. Blocking, you can block. In addition, there are 2 extra forms of blocking for certain attacks. Mashing the A button to reduce damage and pressing different buttons at the right time to mitigate all damage. Leveling works the same as the good games. Miscellaneous stuff. Titles now display HP attack and defense as information on the side, like in Bug Fables. Attacks are selected through button presses. Enemy HP bars change colors based on the remaining HP. Danger and peril. Again, this is a bit hard to narrate. Damage and peril. Coins are collected after battle, doing perfect damage to an enemy, and for no damage nets you an extra coins after battle. Enemy attacks will now have names that will display whenever they attack. Okay, we're getting into partner mechanics. Each partner has 2 overworld... That came out of the mouth weird. This gives partners more utility and opening up more possibilities for environmental puzzles. Rather than having flat levels, each partner has their own skill tree to fill out as you progress through the game. Each node on the skill tree fills out after completing a certain task, like defeating enemies, performing certain actions in battle, or completing side quests. There are 4 types of nodes. Stat node increases. You can increase stats, you can unlock new skills, you can unlock new levels for the special, or unlock passives. I'm going to start kind of summarizing this, just because this is kind of reading like a game manual, which is good for explaining the actual game. It's just a lot harder to narrate. I mean, it's kind of like narrating a math book, and I don't mean that in a bad way per se, it's just harder on my end. During Chapter 7, you unlock a special area called the Partner Palace. Once you have fully upgraded one of your partners, you can enter special trials in the Partner Palace. In these trials, you must solve a series of puzzles and endure a series of battles tailored to that partner. That's fun! You have no items other than what you pick up during the trial, and you can't save. Completing a partner's trial awards them with stat buffs, a new powerful move, a new powerful passive ability, and a 4th level for their special. After every trial is completed, you unlock a special trial that Luigi must complete alone. At the end of the trial, there is a solo boss fight against Nice! From Super Paper Mario. Completing this trial grants Luigi the Uber Boots and Uber Hammer, which increases the strength of Luigi's jump and hammer attacks by 2. Just the fact that he wasn't able to face him the first time. The rematch of the century that everybody's been waiting for. Excellent. Gets super powerful attacks after doing so. Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Okay. Just the simple idea of a Paper Luigi game that's well written, that immediately starts as Luigi and Daisy just going on an adventure together. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. She finds Luigi unconscious in the starting town, where she teams up with him to save Mario and prove that she is competent on her own. She's the one that tattles. Yes. Of course, you gotta encourage people to always have her around. Oh, and that means that she's the one that's narrating to all the enemies. That's so good. Oh, I would buy the game for this alone. Oh, you know what a great thing about doing this with PDS? Actually, no, I can do this whenever. Scratch what I was about to say. But, like, just imagine how fun that would be. Just having Daisy badmouth all the enemies in the game. That could be so good. She can also smack people with her parasol to hit switches. Battle abilities. Slap. She slaps people. Awesome. She's got tattle, because of course, tattle. She had the spin slap, just when she gets really mad and really wants to just backhand people. Got the parasol shield to protect Luigi, which is adorable. And the turn relay, it gives Luigi an extra turn. Special is Flower Power. Regain HP and FP and cure status elements. Works like Sweet Treat in Thousand Year Door. And by upgrading it, it lasts 50% longer. You can make it so poison mushrooms don't show up, and works like Sweet Feast at level 4. Passive abilities is FP regeneration and making healing items stronger. So she's both a tattler and just a fantastic support. And her palace bonds is to Tonga too. Oh, this is so much more fan service than Mario would ever dare do. Like, Mario can barely handle just putting Daisy in the game in the first place. This would be... on one hand, I'm sad that Nintendo would never actually do this, but the sheer idea is so good. We've got Chester the Chain Chomp wearing a baseball cap. Adorable. A young, shy Chain Chomp who goes with Luigi to build character during Chapter 1. He eventually gets a greater sense of confidence and adventure. So initially it's just Luigi, Daisy, and their dog, just going around having adventures. That's so cute. Rushes forward to break obstacles and can leap up to access otherwise inaccessible places. Basic abilities is just to jump on enemies. You can bite, power nap to fall asleep, and get massive defense. It can roll through all grounded enemies, so kind of like the I've seen gameplay of this. The one Koopa that you can kick through all enemies on the ground. And Power Pounce. Pounce until you miss an action command. That's fun. I love abilities like that, where if you can just keep it going, it just never stops. Special is the Guard Chomp. Counter-attack enemies with bite for 3 turns, so kind of a taunt tank, almost, where you want them to hit you so you can hit them back. I like it. Passive abilities increases defense, and improves blocking. With the Palace abilities, being able to survive 1 lethal hit per battle with 1 HP. And its Palace boss is the King Bob-omb. Is this the Chain Chomp on Bob-omb Battlefield? That's great! I love that! We've got Montgomery, the Monty Mole with a green mustache, monocle, and top hat. Yes! Owner of the mines in Chapter 2? And a former miner and adventurer. Oh, yes, I'm 100% here for Monopoly Man Montgomery, the Monty Mole. Initially lets Luigi into the mines and saves him from danger soon after. He joins Luigi because he misses the adventures from his earlier life. He can go underground with Luigi and toss Luigi forward across gaps and hazards. Battle abilities. He can burrow under an enemy, then pop up and deal damage. Upgrade Pierce's damage and defense and can hit mid-air enemies. Burrow can hide underground. Takes up Luigi. Oh, so that's just a dodge. Just basic dig, okay. We know when the enemy boss battle is going to hit. So we can just avoid it altogether. He can throw flaming rocks to inflict burn, he can drill into an enemy dealing multiple hits, and can just maul people. Fun. His special lets him use Undermine multiple times. It's just you get repeatedly burrowing over and over again like it's the Dung Defender from Hollow Knight. Love it. Ooh! Last Will. So this is a glass cannon risk reward kind of playstyle here. You want to purposefully hurt him, at which point he will deal insane damage, which gets really crazy because he got a lot of multi-hit abilities. Gosh, this is like legitimately well thought out like playstyle stuff here. I'm loving this. And because he's and because he's all fancy, he's also the economy guy. You get more coins when you defeat enemies. That's so fun. His palace boss is the Major Burrows from Mario Galaxy. We've got Hattington, a top hat bonneter with a magician's cape and wand. A magician who works at the circus of Chapter 3, who initially teams up with Luigi as part of his job. He then stays with Luigi after Grotes's announcement, and for fun. Hat Toss gets thrown by Luigi, can hit switches and boost jumps, and Hat Roll can get rolled by Luigi, potentially going up and down walls. His basic abilities is to fly towards a near-ground enemy, hitting it twice. Upgrade abilities can hit any enemy. Hat Hurl flies through all near-ground enemies, hitting them twice. Hat Hold hits a single enemy multiple times. Brim Spin spins around into all near-ground enemies, hitting them multiple times. So this is just repurposing Cappy's abilities into the Paper Mario companion. I love that. I can capture to instantly kill an enemy and turn them into an item. That's so fun. Levitate magically slams an enemy into the ground several times. Just over and over and over again. Crowd please. Okay, so this is the special ability companion, just when you really, really want to get as many special moves off as possible. Also a bit of an evasion tank. Fun. And his palace boss is the Brutals. Cool. Oh yes! Give me an RPG where Luigi and Professor Egad go off on an adventure. That's fun! That's so good! He's got the Poltergust to suck into objects and eject them. Also blow objects around. So his abilities, he can hit 2 front enemies, which pierces a bit invisibility and evasion. Suction can suck up 1 enemy and shoot it into the rest of the enemies. Again, I love this so much. Just hitting things with other... Just beat up an enemy with another enemy is one of my favorite just mechanics in any video game it appears in. Got Dark Light, remove all positive stats. So Egad is like the anti buff character. Like, this is what you do when there's that one boss enemy. It's got like some sort of thorns debuff, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. Let's just get rid of it altogether. I love how much each of these companions has their own separate identity. This is so fun. Gust might blow away all enemies instantly, defeating them. And Flood drenches all enemies with water, inflicting slime. But you even get Flood back! This is so fun! Special is Super Suction. Sucking up enemies and shooting them out for high damage. Passive abilities decreases... Okay. So he makes it easier to actually use these abilities by just decreasing how much they cost, while also resisting negatives. Again, this is the status effect guy. Oh, it's almost like these are really well designed or something. And the palace boss is King Boo, because of course it is. We've got Maria, the blue female electro blooper wielding a silver crown. The princess of Blue Planet. Blue Princess? Who is sent by her father to guide Luigi to the Wishing Star in Chapter 5. I hope there's like a full story somewhere later on, because this sounds so fun. She joins the party to save the world after they get attacked by Grotus, and because she wants more to life than her duty. Overworld abilities can slam down on hit buttons and shoot a bolt of lightning, which can activate the devices. It's not the lowest HP so far. Battle abilities. Slowing down on an enemy. Upgrade pierces and hit fire / spiked enemies. Very expensive abilities. Blooper Bulge strikes enemies with lightning, shrinking them. Volt Charge boosts attack. Upgrade gives electrified. Ink Jet shoots ink at all enemies, dealing damage and dizzying them. And Ink Bomb throws 3 bombs that explode 1 turn later. Scales with attack power increases. With the special, Electro Missile shoot missiles at all enemies, piercing their defense. Shoots 4. So this is just, okay, full-on Glass Cannon Mage. You pick this character when you want to deal all the damage. Real attack increases power. Oh yeah, even more so. So you have to play this character perfectly, but if you do, she's going to delete the entire field. Yeah, even more so. You can increase the damage she takes, while also increase the damage dealt. Again, fantastic identities for each of these characters. We got Strider, a green ninja-like shy. Yes! With a spear and shield, leader of a group of shy guys who were mistreated by. He's leading a revolution too. Oh, this is so fun! Opposes Luigi at first due to his fighting shy guys, but accepts Luigi's invitation to join the party in Chapter 6. He can thrust a spear forward to activate certain things, or use a shield to block projectiles or push blocks. Got a basic jab, which can be upgraded with poison. You can guard Luigi with a shield increasing block power and reflecting blocked damage. Ooh! I love some Thorn stuff. Power chord, he's got a guitar! I love that there's the specificity of Chapter 7. Like you can already tell that this is... I was kind of not feeling it at first, but now I'm loving the order that this is being presented to me. Because if there's like a story set up first, like this wouldn't like be as fun, but I'm just picturing here, like, okay, this is kind of a rival character at first, but then you get to know him and you realize that he's got like this really like artistic side of him that like fully, yeah, he's not a little hesitant to show it off at first, but as he gets to know Luigi, he starts shredding on the guitar to just, I love this so much. This is so fun. We get the Shy Slurp, drain an enemy's HP and add it to Luigi and Strider's, pierces defense. And Smoke Screen gives Luigi and Strider the dodgy status. Special Hidden Courage. Increases Strider and Luigi's attack and defense, works like Power Lift. Just tons of stat buffs. Carry On increases effective revenge. Increases attack bonus by 1, increases attack and defense. Best Teammate increases Luigi's attack when active. And then Last Hope, revive Luigi with 1 HP per battle, procs before revival items. Oh my, so this is like kind of bounce back and forth between these two party members to purposely increase each other's stats. Ultimately ending up with Luigi just wanting revenge as this new best bro that he's made has fallen. Just, I love this mental image of just stacking so many buffs on Luigi, specifically centered around just getting your other party member killed. Ah, this is fun. Seems to be a very, like, reliable character, that whether he's up or not, he's always providing you with something. He's more of a support character. And he gets beat up worse, because why not? Let's just make this the best Mario game ever to please every fan of every series. Just imagine how crazy the idea would be. You'd think Nintendo would think of something like that, but no, you can maybe have a little morsel every now and then. Tina, female... Please say that this is like a Captain Toad fanboy. Oh, please. An optional party member who joins Luigi after he helps the rescue squad find a series of gems hidden around the world. Can dig to recover items, and tells you if there's any items nearby, and if so, how close you are to them. Tosses turnips, because of course. Radio feedback, emits sound from a radar to dizzy all enemies. Can chuck ice to cause freeze. Double cherry to... Oh, yes! Yes! I love double cherries! This is the double cherry episode! Please say the stacks. Oh, sorry, Fangirl. And supply drop gains 5 low-tier items. Fun. Special calls for help calls NPCs from around the game to perform attacks, set power, or heal. And just sums a plethora of various NPCs. That's great. Passive abilities is Treasure Tracker. Increases item drops by 200%. Love it. And increases effectiveness of summons. Oh, we're getting summons too. Oh wait, no, that's what this is. Duh. Still fun. And it passes the window from Chapter Treasure Tracker. Ah, that's great. All right, now we got the badges. Our limited amount of badges for either. Oh, this is a bullet point list. Okay. I'll try to rattle through these real quick. Okay. You can jump on an enemy to deal damage. You can jump on all enemies. Do you miss the command? Jump. I might just kind of skip over these because bullet points like this are just really hard to narrate. Like the repetition. Wow, I'm already having a hard time narrating. Suffice to say, there are tons of options for how you want to customize Luigi because, as you can clearly tell, there's a lot of different ways you could approach this game. This is set up to be such a good RPG. Like, I would play this, and I don't like RPGs that much. We haven't even gotten to, like, story stuff. Just mechanics alone. You've hooked me on an RPG on mechanics alone. Do you realize how hard that is for me? Normally I don't like these kind of games. Just read the bold ones. Okay, I'll read the bold ones. That's a good idea. So, Heart Flutter, jump on an enemy, absorbing their HP. Poison Pound hammers an enemy, inflicting poison. So the Steel Stomp safely stomps enemies, piercing defense. I'm assuming that's to get around like spikes and stuff. Splash Smash, hammer inflicts soggy. Double Smash, hammer an enemy twice. Frost Drive is for Fire Drive for ice. Triple Smash, hammer an enemy 3 times. Toughen Up increases defense by 2 for 1 turn. These are the active ones. Supercharge increases damage of the next attack by 5. Ultra Charge increases the damage of the next attack by 8. Turn Relay allows Luigi to give his turn to the active partner. So if you're playing with the Blooper Princess, Turn Relay is the way you want to go, just to make sure that she just deletes the entire board instantly. We've got the Head Start, increases the damage of first strikes. Perfect Rush grants 2 attack at full HP. Grants 2 attack but increases FP cost by 1. Grants 2 attack at full FP. Berserker increases Luigi's attack by 2 but loses control of his actions. Oh my gosh. And with Vengeance granting Luigi plus 2 attack and defense. This idea of just punished Luigi. Just creating this rage monster and just letting him loose upon all who would stand in his way that dare to hurt his friends. Dark Power grants Luigi 4 attack but set SP to 0. Overexertion grants Luigi 4 attack but triple his FP cost. Doesn't matter, he's already berserked, he doesn't have control over his actions. Just charge forward, angry Luigi. This is so fun. Perfect Stand and take half HP when at full... half damage when at full HP. Royal Guard lets Luigi perform a frame perfect block that negates all damage. Alright, we got badges for FP Saver. Flower Burst, decrease FP cost by 1 when at full FP. Perfect Saver, decrease FP cost by 1 when at full HP. Close Save, decreases FP cost of Luigi's partner's moves by 1 when in danger. Mega Save decreases FP cost of... like, oh my gosh. Again, it's just... ugh. Just saying the same thing over and over gets a little bit tongue-tied. By 2 when in peril, and the Flower Fanatic decreases FP cost of Luigi's partner's moves by 2. Yeah, you know what? I think I am just going to kind of skip over these. Like, you can get badges for healing to just get passive regeneration. We're getting FP instead. You can double how much your regeneration. You can absorb block damage as FP. You You can decrease your own attack, but regain HP for every enemy you hit, so kind of get just like a passive tanking kind of build. Yeah, that's all I know. That's all I know. I'll describe the builds that you could do with them instead of like the actual thing you're doing. Unbeatable is another thing you can just throw on there to just create the most unstoppable monster Luigi. Oh, this is really good for, what's his face? The mole. Montgomery. Got star storage, automatically convert levels, current star orbs. It's just more economy-based stuff. You can show the attack and defensive stuff for tattled enemies. Lets you get away fast. You get more SP from encourages, you gain more SP from stylish moves. Just like various little things you can throw on to get all kinds of cool builds going. Make it so you can throw your hammer to hit any enemies. Just go for a full hammer build so you can are no longer limited by just being able to hit the person up front. Same with stomps, being able to hit any enemies. Passive item stuff that you can keep. Yeah. All fun stuff. Ooh, that's some cosmetic stuff. Make yourself look like Ice Luigi, Fire Luigi, get your color palette to Mario, color palette to Wario. Builder Luigi, Luigi's original appearance. You can just dress up as Mr. L for the fun of it. I love it. Little things like that is what I feel like Nintendo really struggles to work with. Like, they're so sterile in how they present their characters when there's so much fun for little things like this. It'd be great. Specials are acquired through star medals found throughout the world. There's only one of each star medal, and they cannot be sold or discarded. You start with 1 slot for star medals, but you eventually obtain 3 more for a total of 4. Upgrade these up to 4 levels. Consuming more SP, these levels can be obtained by upgrading star medals, which can be upgraded at the mines in Chapter 2. Available specials, so this is all for Luigi. I assume. Do a high damage stomp to one enemy. Hammer Storm throws... It's just a hammer bro barrage of hammers. Just have a Luigi move named Hypernova. Deal piercing damage to all enemies. Last Ditch Attack. Deal massive damage. Can only be used in danger. I'm just picturing... Again, just picturing a Luigi build where you purposefully just stack all these buffs through revenge and revival items, losing your party members to do just one-shot any boss instantaneously. Heal Seal prevents enemy healing. Time Warp stops enemies for a few turns. Refresher is a healer. 1-Up is a safety net to revive Luigi if he falls. Power Up increases attack and defense. Hypercharge is a greatly increases attack power. Super Block increases defense. Chain Attack gets bonus actions for a few turns. Ring Out gets lots of coins and items from enemies, literally ringing them out. Another way to summon NPCs to perform an attack or heal. Alright, we got your items. You got your healing stuff with your mushrooms and your syrups. You got the spicy mushrooms for the attack boosts. Yeah, various consumables that do various types of damages if you want to get certain status effects out there. You got your various buffing items to give various buffing abilities to your various party members. Got your revival items. Okay, I'm actually curious about this one. So you got 2 potential, like, stacking stat buffs. Like, this is the one that's speaking the most to me in terms of like, oh yeah, this sounds like it'd be really fun to set up. Just going up against the final boss, just having everyone loaded up with these sorts of things, just purposely getting one shot by their abilities and then just completely deleting them in turn. That sounds like a lot of fun. You got your key items. Spin skates lets you press and hold R to check up a spin. I'm not quite... Hold on a second. I'm not quite feeling Rock Hawk's thing. It's just a little too heavy for the vibe of what we're going for here. There's got some various upgrades to skates to allow you to spin over water, lava, let you inflict dizzy on enemies by using them, and destroys weak enemies when you spin into. We've got the Mail NX, allows you to receive emails, call people, which can do various things. Oh, yes! RPGs need more things like this. Just let me talk to NPCs and let me see how their stories are evolving over various portions of the story. That's so good. You can hold more items, you can reveal hidden blocks. Allows Luigi to hold an additional one. Again, you can have so much fun with stuff like this. Just stack all the deaths for all the power. Fast travel, grab items farther away, all that good stuff. Gotta have the menu segment, of course. We have the save section above. Now you gotta have the menus. You can see all of Luigi's stats, his boots, his hammers, all of his consumables, all his currencies. Any effects on him and his membership levels at the shops. Shows a list of the active partners on the party menu. Got your item menus showing off what you have, how you can use them for. It just amuses me. Not only do we have the thoroughness of this document is impressive. Not only do we know that you can sort the revival items, we know the exact button you can press as well. It does help tremendously in, like, perfectly envisioning the game that's at store here. Got a menu for equipping stuff, because of course you do. We have a journal menu. I do like RPG journals. Those are very fun. All the story stuff, the badge stuff, the title log, etc., etc. Cooking log. That's fun. Got your tutorials, your quests, maps, stats, all that good stuff. You know what? To be fair... I just noticed this. We have a specific Flavio mode, which replicates the 1,000-year door Flavio glitch to ensure that wherever you go, whatever you do, Flavio will be there for you. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. Alright, basic control abilities. I'm not going to read over these. Your controls do the things that allow you to do the things. All the abilities that we've just read. You can use them in various ways. Here, you get a boat, which allows you to unlock the... explore the ocean across the Mushroom Kingdom and works like an origami king. You can only access it through ports, but in Chapter 7 you get an airship that lets you explore basically everything. It's an RPG. Shops work similarly to 1,000-Year Door with a few enhancements. Rather than purchasing items at one at a time, you pick items up with A and pack them at the back. Press X to equip items. Shops work like shops do. You got your storages, you got your membership systems that gives you rewards based on how much you spend. Warp pipes let you travel around the world, but you have to defeat the piranha plants within them first. Which is a nice way of just explaining why you can't go everywhere at first. You gotta get rid of what's blocking the other side of them. I like it. Cooking! Okay, I was curious about this. At Peach's Castle, you can talk to Peach to access the cooking menu. You can combine multiple items or revival items to create new items or revival items. There are some differences from the original Paper Mario trilogy, however. Rather than selecting 2 items to cook something, you select a recipe from a list. Recipes are found throughout the game. There are multiple lists of items you can switch between when selecting recipes. And if an ingredient can be bought in the shop, you can spend coins rather than having to manually gather said item. Okay, so cooking minigame. Spells work similar to the first 2 games, but Luigi has a meter showing how much of the effect of the spell remains. Inns work pretty much the same, with differences. There are multiple tiers per stay, which gives you good stuff depending on what you spend on. Collecting items works like Thousand Year Door, but you can collect items with the hammer. There are no floor panels. Items can have... Ugh, again, just bullet points are very hard to narrate. Nothing against it, it's just that the very concept of a bullet point is kind of set up in a way that you're... By design, it's a jarring narration style, because it's meant to be... to put breaks between every single little thing you're trying to talk about. Miscellaneous stuff, you can now move twice as fast and spin twice as far as you did in the original games, just so you can get around. Oh, it's nothing wrong, it's just different... It's good for getting across information, it's just harder on my part to narrate. Nothing on your part, well, and don't feel bad about it. For striking weak enemies in the overworld will instantly kill them. More RPGs need to implement this. It's so annoying to have to go into just low-level tier trash fights that you just know isn't going to hurt you. You're going to kill them instantly. It just takes up time. Much needed quality of life that any RPG needs. Environmental hazards cannot kill you. When you engage an enemy, nearby enemies will join in on the battle. Okay, extra stuff. We got the museum. Keeps track of all the enemies you've tattled on. I love donatable museums. That's just that kind of Stardew Valley Animal Crossing. Go through the game and add more stuff to this single collection. I love stuff like that. Great sense of progression from these things. The Rescue Squad from Color Splash has a station set up where you can spend money to get hints for the story and quests. Nice 100%ing options here. Which is also how you get Tina as a partner, by doing all of this. Alright. We have a dojo to let you practice action commands. Nice. Got a pit of 100 trials. Functioning like the one in Thousand Year Door, although you can't save in the middle of it. Just a gauntlet of... Can you survive? Love it. Got an arcade boss simulator, which includes many games based on past Nintendo games. That's fun! Ooh! Also includes a boss simulator, allowing you to fight either gauntlets of mini-bosses or tougher versions of chapter bosses. That is a great way of including some higher difficulty options while also making sure that the main story is still accessible. I like it. We got Chuck Quizmo. Yes, more quiz shows in all video games! Please! Didn't mean to scroll that much. Still, fun. Very fun. Star Store. Okay, lets you adjust the balancing of your levels at the cost of coins. So basically a respecking kind of deal. And after you beat the game, you can visit Rougeport. You can visit all the... Oh! Shut up, alarm. I don't need to worry about that today. Here you can visit all the major locations of Thousand Year Door, albeit with altered level designs. There are also new areas to explore, bosses to fight, rewards to find. So just Pokemon Gold and Silver, but for Paper Mario. Love it. We got your side quests. Sorry. Need some water. I'm gonna go back to Rosepart's theme. It's just a cozy theme. Makes it easier to narrate. Running late for something? No, that's just a reminder to get to rent the studying math stuff. Keep it up on the weekends. I lose track of time very easily, so I have alarms that go off constantly throughout the day for things like that. You can play hide and seek with children in Toadshire, help a farmer save their farm in Chop Country, helping a failing restaurant in Muleville, helping improve agriculture in Blue Plantis. That's right. Helping Strata's Shy Guy teammates, helping Luigi go on a date with Daisy. Yes, this is so cute. Oh, just you had me sold on Luigi and Daisy going on an RPG adventure. Just going on, arguably the cutest Nintendo couple. Please. Helping Bowser find the Koopalings around the world. Helping find out about the ancient civilization in Rougeport, going through the Glitz Pit. Finding Duplis in Twilight Town, Creepy Steeple, and going on an adventure in Keel Hall Key with Bobbery. Okay, major areas. Where are we going in this game? Toadshire, a peaceful village with mushroom houses surrounded by an autumnal forest. This is where the dojo and the Pit of Trials is. Connecting to Toad Town, Bowser's Castle Town, Wicked Woods, and the ocean. Toad Town is a combination between the Paper Mario 64 and the Origami King appearances. Contains Peach's Castle, the Rescue Squad HQ, Star Piece, and Star Field. We got Chomp Country, which is where we meet our adorable little... Oh, what was his name? The Chester. Contains a library. Bowser's Castle Town is populated by his minions. This is where you get Chuck Kawismo. I'm supposed to say that, Jared? And the Magic Shop. We got Moleville with the mines. We got the Koopa Cave with the arcade. Koopa Cove, sorry. The Wicked Woods. Blue Plantis. Iceberg. Trial Islands. The Ocean, which is the ocean. Yes! Oh, I was hoping there would be a story thing at the end of this. Okay, now that we have all the pieces in place, let's go on a journey to see how it all shapes up. I am so excited for this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get some water because I want to narrate this properly. Okay. It's Mario's birthday, and a messenger Toad invites him to Peach's castle for a celebration. Mario hesitates, as Luigi is still asleep, but the Toad insists he comes anyway. Upon his arrival, Peach and Toadsworth greet him and hand him a cake saying happy ... birthday, Mario. Peach apologizes for the smudged frosting, but says it's alright because they all know how old Mario is anyway. Oh, it's for how old he is. That's cute. Immediately afterwards, Mario receives a suspiciously large present containing Bowser. Everyone at the party, including Peach, reacts nonchalantly since they all know Mario will just defeat him anyway. After Mario beats him in the tutorial battle, Bowser laments about not being taken seriously anymore. However, Mario's victory is short-lived as Grodus and the X-Nauts appear, claiming they've come back for revenge. Mario rushes to defend Peach, but is soon defeated and captured, with Grodus explaining he has other plans for the Mushroom Kingdom. Meanwhile, Luigi awakens, distressed about the fact that he overslept, the attack on the castle, and the present he forgot to give Mario. He goes to confront Grodus, but is promptly defeated and blown away. The X-Nauts retreat, leaving Peach, Bowser, and everyone else to watch as Mario is taken away. Luigi then wakes up in Toadshire, greeted by Toadsworth's brother, Toadsman. Toadsman informs Luigi that he's been out of cold for the past 3 days, to which Luigi panics. He expresses concern over what might happen to Mario, as well as the present which he has now lost. Toadsman offers Luigi some soup to calm his nerves, and then explains that a nice young woman found him, and the present just outside town a few days ago. Daisy then enters the room, tells Luigi that Peach's castle is nearby, and offers to help him get back to Toad Town. Luigi thanks her and accepts her offer. The two then head on the path back to Toad Town, but just before they can get back, Bowser Jr. appears. He explains that Bowser likes not having Mario around, and intends to keep it that way. He then fights Luigi and Daisy, loses, and leaves. The two of them then head back to Toad Town. Chapter 1. Luigi and Daisy meet up with Peach in her castle. Peach is upset about Mario's disappearance, but has an idea to get him back. She explains that there are 7 magical artifacts called wishing stars that can be used to channel the star spirit's power and grant a wish. Luigi is unsure about his ability to save Mario, let alone any of the wishing stars. But Daisy reassures him. Peach explains one of the stars is in Bowser's castle, and gives Luigi a map of the Mushroom Kingdom. The party then set out to Bowser's castle. On the way, they pass through Chomp Country, where they meet Chester. Chester is a young, shy chomp who wants to be a great adventurer one day, but is afraid of the outside world. His parents then suggest that he should go with Luigi and Daisy, who agree to let him go on the journey with them. The 3 of them then head to the town surrounding Bowser's castle, but before entering, they encounter a ninja-like spear-wielding Shy Guy. He says his name is Strider, and that he hates Luigi, but doesn't explain anything else about himself. They then make their way through part of Bowser's castle to find the wishing star. However, it is guarded by Lord Crump, who uses a giant robot dragon to fight the party. The party wins and gets the wishing star, and Crump retreats to tell Grottus about Luigi. Grottus dismisses Luigi as a non-threat and explains he would rather focus on the current plan. The party then unlocks the fast travel pipes, which they take back to Toad Town. After sharpening Peach's castle, they learn the next wishing star is deep within the caves of the Moleville mines. Moleville is easily accessible by train, so the party takes the train directly from Toad Town. While discussing how to find the wishing star, a Monty Mole named Molson overhears them. He explains he is a supervisor at the mines, and they'll need the permission of the mine's owner, Montgomery Molt McMole, before they can get in. When the party arrives in Moleville, they find Montgomery at the local inn, telling stories of his past adventures. Upon finishing his story, Montgomery laments about his adventuring days are behind him, and there's not much left for him in his old age. He then notices Luigi, and as a huge fan of the Mario Brothers, gladly gives him permission to enter the mines. The party heads through the first level of the mines, which is jungle-like and full of plants. Everything goes well until they run into a giant crawfish made of crystals called the Crustacean. That's great. Montgomery rescues them, but the party ends up stuck in the second layer of the mines, which contains a variety of colorful crystals. Luigi apologizes profusely, but Montgomery laughs it off, having finally found the sense of adventure he missed so much. He decides to join up with Luigi, and the party head back to the main area of the mines. Molson explains the process of upgrading star medals with star crystals, after which the party descends back into the mines. They make it to the third layer, which is filled with lava, and Luigi finds the super hammer. Upon reaching the bottom of the mines, Luigi finds the crustacean again, and the party fights it. They obtain the second wishing star, but on their way back they are ambushed by the crustacean and have to finish it off. After defeating it, the party returns to the inn, where Luigi gets a mysterious email saying the third wishing star is in a place called Koopa's Cove. The party learns that Koopa's Cove is very hard to get to without access to a specific train line. While they try to figure out how to get there, two Hammer Bros barge in, looking very distraught. They are the managers of a circus that is going bankrupt, and they're taking it on one final cross-town train tour that ends at Koopa Cove. This news startles Luigi, causing him to jump very high, which the Hammer Bros immediately notice. They invite Luigi to go on the tour with them due to his incredible jumping skills potentially attracting crowds, and Luigi agrees. On the train, Luigi meets Haddington, a Bonneter magician who joins the party, and Primerk, a mysterious clown who strangely resembles Lord Crump. Who could he possibly be? On the way to Koopa Cove, Luigi must complete several challenges, including battling, platforming, and minigames, all while doing well enough to earn a good enough rating for the circus. In between these challenges, Luigi gets the Super Boots, gets an extra star medal slot, and finds out that, gasp, Primerk is actually Lord Crump! They defeat Lord Crump, he retreats, and the Hammer Bros don't mind because he wasn't very funny to begin with. Once they arrive at Koopa's Cove, the party learns the wishing star is in Koopa Coliseum, which is, coincidentally, where the final show takes place. During the show, Luigi must overcome a challenging obstacle course within a time limit to disarm a bomb strapped to his chest. Upon Luigi's completing the course, however, Bowser Jr. appears and explains the whole thing was a ploy to weaken Luigi and then defeat him. However, Luigi defeats him and takes the wishing star. We then cut to Bowser watching the entire thing on a TV screen and ranting to Kevin about how his plan failed. However, the TV broadcast is then interrupted by an announcement from Grottus. Grottus congratulates Luigi on his achievements, but claims they are insignificant. He then reveals his true plan: to turn Mario into a mind-controlled cyborg and use him as a weapon to conquer the world. He gives everyone 72 hours to surrender the planet to him, and ends his broadcast. Bowser is shocked, but rejects Kamek's idea of teaming up with Luigi and instead decides to hatch a new plan. We then return to Luigi, who is sobbing over his failure to save Mario and deliver his present. I love how the present continues to be such a huge priority for him. Like, yeah, his friend's in danger, but he really wants to show his brother he loves him at the same time. It's so adorably wholesome. I love it. Mr. M, yes! That's totally what's going on here. Oh, this is, I cannot stress how much happiness this is putting in my heart right now. His partners then cheer him up, including Haddington, who has decided to take a break from the circus to go with Luigi on his adventure. The party then heads back to Peach's castle, where Peach tells them she will deal with the Grota situation, and that she knows where the next wishing star is. Luigi learns the next wishing star is in Wicked Woods, a haunted forest north of Torchshire. Upon arriving in the woods, Luigi fights Strider, again, who is now accompanied by some other Shy Guys. The party then enters a mysterious shack where they get ambushed by ghosts, but then saved by Professor Egad. Egad joins the party to help Luigi save the world, and explains that he is researching the shack because it may hold a wishing star. He believes a nearby underground library may hold some clues, so the party goes to investigate. In the library, Kamek ambushes them, and then drops a book about the shack upon defeat. The book says that in order to reveal the secret of the shack, 5 ghosts must be collected from around the woods. Luigi collects all the ghosts and then returns to the shack, which transforms into a gigantic mansion called Wezu Mansion. The mansion can flip upside down at specific points, and after navigating it successfully, the party finds the source of the mansion's power, an ancient skeletal ghost snake called Serpent Spine. That's great. The party defeats it and gets the 4th wishing star. They head back to Peach's castle and learn the next wishing star is located in the ocean. Meanwhile, both Grotus and Bowser decide they should deal with Luigi themselves. Chapter 5. The party finds a used boat in Toadshire, which Egad fixes. They use the boat to find where they think the wishing star is located, but a giant whirlpool appears and drags them down. They then wake up in Blue Plantis, an ancient, super advanced blooper civilization. Luigi talks to the king of Blue Plantis, asking about the wishing star, and he says the wishing star is in the sacred Tentacle Temple. He grants Luigi permission to access the temple, but first he must find Maria, the princess of Blue Plantis. The party finds Maria in Blue Plantis' agricultural district, where she's analyzing the irrigation devices and how they work. Upon Maria's return, the king scolds her for running off without his permission, but Maria retorts that she wants more to life than her duty. Her father relents and lets her accompany Luigi on his journey, so she goes with the party on the submarine to the temple. However, Grotus then attacks and destroys the submarine, leaving the party separated and trapped in Riptear Reef, a dangerous coral reef filled with tough enemies. The player then controls yeah! Oh, hell yes! We just keep winning with this idea. Takes control of Daisy, who meets up with Maria, and the two of them talk about their reasons for going on the journey. Daisy and Maria then gather the rest of the partners, and then they find Luigi passed out. Daisy gives Luigi CPR, successfully revives him, and hugs him when he comes to. I can't handle the adorableness! Luigi is relieved to see everyone is okay, but worried since Mario's present is now missing. It's always his number 2 priority. I love it. The party finds that Bowser and Bowser Jr. have taken it, and Bowser mocks Luigi with it. This angers Luigi, You don't mess with his present for Mario, and he declares that despite his shortcomings as a hero, he will save Mario no matter what. Luigi defeats both Bowsers, reclaims the present, and heads with the party to Tentacle Temple. They solve a series of puzzles involving raising and lowering water levels and come face to face with Grodus. Grodus and the X-Nauts have not only stolen large amounts of valuable plutonium I gotta watch out for that plutonium. Dangerous stuff. But also hacked the temple's robotic guardian, the Mecha Blooper, to attack Luigi. The party defeats the Mecha Blooper and takes the Wishing Star, but Grodus escapes. The king of Blue Plantis then appears and apologizes to Maria for being so selfish to her before. Maria accepts his apology, but decides she wants to go with Luigi on his journey. The king grants her request and then opens up a secret passageway leading back to the surface. Before Luigi departs, the king tells him of a rumor that a wishing star is hidden in a place called Frozen Fortress. Frozen Fortress is located on a mountain called Mount Refridge, near a town called Iceberg. Iceberg is easily accessible by boat, so the party arrives there quickly and takes a tram up to the mountain. The tour guide warns them that there have been some avalanches lately, and they do encounter a couple on their way up to Frozen Fortress. Before entering the fortress, Luigi and the party encounter Strider and his teammates again, and once again defeat them. Luigi asks Strider why he's so hostile, and Strider explains how he and his fellow Shy Guys were mistreated by Bowser. He also says he hates Luigi because he and Mario have beaten so many of Bowser's minions, including them. Luigi apologizes and invites Strider to join his party, but Strider declines. The party then explores the fortress, where they learn it was originally a base used by Bowser, containing a variety of special weapons. One such weapon was Bowser's Epic Ice of Destruction, or Bowser's Ice for short, an ice-based weapon which can be fused with certain metals. Then they run into Crump and the X-Nauts, who are combining Bowser's Ice with plutonium to create an indestructible metal called X-Steel. Crump demonstrates this via a special ice-shooting robot called Frostbite, attempting to crush Luigi. However, Strider comes in and blocks the attack with his shield and escapes with the rest of the party. Strider joins the party for good, and explains that he used to be stationed at Frozen Fortress. He recalls Bowser's Ice being developed in a special laboratory near the fortress, and says there might be some left over. Maria also mentions that her crown is made of plutonium, so they could potentially use it to forge some X-Steel. The party then sneaks past the X-Naut forces in the laboratory and finds some Bowser's Ice. Egad uses it to upgrade Luigi's hammer and Strider's shield, allowing them to both damage and block the X-Naut robots. They then charge through the laboratory and Frozen Fortress, coming face to face with Crump for a battle against Frostbite. They take the 6th Wishing Star from Crump and head back to Peach's castle to warn her about the X-Naut's plan. Meanwhile, Crump calls Grodus to say everything is going smoothly. Yeah, it's great. Everything's fine. Get some water real quick. Chapter 7. Peach tells the party that the last Wishing Star is in the sky on some ancient floating islands. In order to get there, EGAT needs to modify the boat to work as an airship, which requires a few parts. After collecting them, the party leaves for the sky and comes across the islands. Here, Luigi must face 3 challenges: a platforming challenge, a puzzle challenge, and a combat challenge. During this time, Luigi also obtains the Ultra Boots and encounters the Partner Palace. After clearing all 3 challenges, Luigi must clear the Temple of Trials, a final test containing platforming, puzzle, and combat elements. Unfortunately, Bowser and Kamek wait at the end of the temple, and Luigi and the party must fight them one last time. Bowser and Kamek are knocked back to Bowser's castle, where Kamek chastises Bowser for his stupid plan. Bowser laments his uselessness, as well as the fact that it is starting to cloud up. Kamek tells Bowser the clouds don't look like clouds, and as it turns out, the X-Nauts have begun their invasion of the Mushroom Kingdom. Chapter 8. The party flies back to Peach's castle in the airship, dodging waves of X-Naut forces along the way. Upon reaching the ground, they learn the X-Nauts have invaded using X-Mechs, special robots made from X-Steel. They help save Peach from an attack, after which she tells them she can handle herself and that they should focus on saving Mario. They use the wishing stars to open a wormhole to X-Nautica, the X-Nauts' new spacebound floating city. Upon arrival, Luigi fights through hordes of X-Nauts to reach the X-Naut Fortress 2, Grodus' main base. The Fortress 2 involves a lot of platforming, combat, and puzzles, which eventually culminates in a battle with Tech 2.0, the X-Naut's main computer. Once Tech 2.0 is defeated, the X-Mechs are shut down and the path opens to the X-Core, where Mario is held. After some more difficult segments, the party finally finds the controlled Mario. They battle him, but during the battle, Luigi tells Mario how much he loves him and wants him to come back, hoping he will regain consciousness. Eventually, the special helmet used to control Mario is removed, though he remains unconscious. Luigi rejoices, but is interrupted as Grodus, who revealed that everything was part of his plan. He realized Luigi was just as powerful as Mario, if not more powerful, and decided to turn Luigi into a cyborg as well. He then fuses with Magnus von Grapple to form the final boss of the game, Grodus von Grapple, the ultimate weapon designed to defeat Luigi. Grodus throws a punch at Luigi, but Luigi deflects it with his hammer, declaring that with how far he's come, there is nothing in the universe that will stop him from saving Mario. The party fights Grodus, after which he attempts to simply annihilate Luigi, but then Bowser and Kamek show up and destroy Grodus von Grapple once and for all. Bowser realizes that he isn't useless after all because he can still help save the world, and everyone heads back to the airship with Mario in tow. Just before they leave, however, Grodus launches missiles at the airship in an attempt to destroy it. The now damaged airship crashes into Peach's castle, leaving it in a pile of rubble. Everyone comes out okay, except for Mario, who is still unconscious. Luigi begs Mario to wake up and starts sobbing, overwhelmed with guilt over failing his brother. In this moment, Mario wakes up, sees Luigi crying, and without a second thought hugs his brother. Luigi wishes Mario a happy birthday and apologizes for being late. Everyone cheers at the partners. Peach and Bowser join in on the hug. Luigi then remembers to give Mario his present, a music box he made to represent how much he and Mario care for each other. The end. That was so absurdly adorable. 12 out of 10, 15 out of 10 even. Willen64, I congratulate you on your ability to ruin every Paper Mario game that's going to come out for the next several years. Decades, even. I don't see Nintendo having this much fun with the series for a long, long time. But oh, that was just the best thing ever. Oh, I don't think I'm being 100% serious when I'm saying this. And keep in mind, I haven't actually played Paper Mario or the Thousand Year Door. That's probably the most invested I've been in a Mario story. And it was a fan fiction, but it was a good one. Also, just some really great ideas here. Like, I do think the actual way this is presented might chase off some people from actually understanding how great the idea is. Like, as much as I love this in chronological order, it does make it a bit difficult for people to realize how amazing this all is when the first thing they see is there are 3 save files. But even then, once they get to that point, there's so much good stuff here. I love how well designed each of the partners are, like having each of them have such clear, distinct gameplay roles. Just the amount of thought put into all of this is truly impressive. Well done, well done. Alright, we are 2 hours in, and I have talked about 2 of these ideas. This is a good sign. Let's grab with an idea from 8-bit Wiseman. Remember this? It was part of a teaser animation that happened on... Hold on. Before anything happened on anything. We gotta share that document real quick. I remembered this time! Ha! I'm getting better. It was part of a teaser animation that happened in the 2011 Capcom's... That long ago, jeez. Comic panel for Street Fighter X Tekken, bringing the hope for a new entry in this beloved fighting game with these terrors of that... Hang on, hold on. God! Wow! I may need a minute. I'm sorry I ruined the joke. That would have been even better if I'd forgotten. Oh, I need water. Okay. We are discovering a new meta with these concepts. I cannot wait to see how this evolves into the future. Oh my god. Okay. Back in 2011, this was a semblance of hope that the Darkstalkers would be back after a 14-year hiatus. Now it's just a that's gonna nuke my narration for a while. Now it's just a tragic reminder that even after 25 years, some dreams may not become true. But what about nightmares? To celebrate spooky season, happy Halloween in advance, or in... we're a bit late, but happy Halloween regardless. I've decided to take a crack at bringing this series back to life with the dark magics of Google Documents. People have done cruel rituals such as emailing Capcom pleads for a new Darkstalkers game, and taking photos of themselves with money in their hands, to hopefully bring this corpse back to the realm of the living. But now we are in the world of Peasant's perspective, where we don't care whether the ideas are feasible to some budget or if licensing is going to crawl under our skin. We have imagination and the internet to craft this Frankenstein's monster of a pitch. So without further ado, let's begin. Oh, I feel I should mention some important stuff in this document. This shall be brief so we can get to the spooky fighting game sooner. So, now some notes. Spoilers! First off, and this shouldn't be a shock based on the number of the entry, but we're going to be spoilers for the current Darkstalkers trilogy. But I don't mean, hey, that's a reference to the arcade ladder of Sasquatch and Darkstalkers 1. No, I mean secret characters that were unlockable now being revamped for this concept, cuts explained for the current status of said character in their arcade ladder, and most importantly, the main story of this new game and the final boss of said story is based on the major twist of one of the previous entries. Just in case, any part that I would consider a spoiler has its lettering colored to the page to camouflage itself. Oh, that is a good way of doing it! So be on the lookout for anything looking weird if you want to read more. Like this. Secret DLC character here. Oh, neat. But still, if you don't want to get this twist ruined because you read a doc on the internet, skip this doc and play Darkstalkers. If you already know the twist or don't care, continue warning. Trigger warning, and second off, and this shouldn't be a shock based on the subject of the game, but there's going to be stuff that you may not be yes, we gotta have those trigger warnings. There might be monsters, mentions of killing, demons, angels, mythological beasts, and other religious stuff. Bugs of many shapes and sizes. Other stuff that people tend to be scared of. Also, Duke made... Okay, yeah. Okay, that last one... that last one has triggered people in the past. So maybe that is actually kind of fair. Be warned, people, you might see things that have more legs than you are used to. And lastly, and this shouldn't be much of a shock based on how kind of niche this is, I need to quickly explain the timeline, since it would be a little confusing. Darkstalkers 1/Vampire is the first game. Darkstalkers 2/Vampire Hunter is an enhanced port of the first game with new mechanics and characters, but the same story. Darkstalkers 3/Vampire Savior is a new story with new characters and the current ending of the series. Vampire Savior 2 and Vampire Hunter 2 are ports of DS3 with differing rosters and mechanics, but still being the same story of DS3. Okay, I think I'm following. Okay, so now we should start this discussion. Obviously, the best place to start is the machinations of play. Gameplay. If you know Darkstalkers, you know it's a fast game. Between the damage gauge system, where you lose a bar of health, it takes less than 5 seconds to get to the next round. To the fact that you can hoard up to 99 bars of super in the third entry. Yes, that's real. This is less of a tactical martial fighter between two fighters where it's about managing the super bar so that you can get an opening to do a series of carefully crafted punches, and more of a, come on, just use the cool move, you have like 30 of them. Don't you want to see the Aussie zombie rock star turn the curiously attractive fishman into a basketball and do a sick dunk? And you know, that can be a good thing. Not everyone here may enjoy carefully maneuvering around the opponent until the side of an opening, just as an equal-sized group may not enjoy their game plan be, use cool move around, repeat. Diversity is good when talking about different fighting games. So yeah, the gameplay will stick close to Darkstalkers 3. There will be 3 punch buttons, 3 kick buttons, each divided into light, medium, heavy, and a taunt button. Most of the systems that you know and enjoy are here. Damage gauge, stocking up on the special meter, white damage you can recover if remaining undamaged. However, there is a system I'd like to spice up so that people can see this is different from D3. That being, the Dark Force. For a refresher in this system, Dark Force is a gameplay element introduced in D3. Basically, by spending one of your probably many bars of cool move juice, you can instead activate Dark Force, where each character has a cool unique effect that varies with each fighter. For example, Rico here summons a big wave and a manta ray that he can use as a surfboard to move around the stage. Also, the Dark Force users gain the ability to do permanent damage to the opponent when you hit them, but to balance this, they also receive permanent damage. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad mechanic, it's probably one of the better ones, but instead that we can improve upon it. In the console ports of this game, Dark Force was divided into 2 separate boosts, with Dark Change being the cool effect and Dark Power being doing permanent damage when attacking. These are some good options, but we can spice them up. First off, have both of them last longer depending on how much cool move juice you want to spend, up to a max of 3 bars so you can't auto-win. Second of all, ES moves, the one that use part of the cool move bar instead of the entirety for EX moves, use more cool move juice while in Dark Power. To balance this change, both ES and EX moves are slightly stronger and you no longer receive permanent damage, but instead you regenerate it way slower. I've never played Darkstalkers, so I just need to quickly ask, is it actually called Cool Move Juice? And if not, why on earth not? That's hilarious. Dark Change, on the other hand, would be the more defensive option. So for starters, you would feel white damage faster than normal. Another to note is that the more offensive Dark Changes from D3, like BB Hood's missiles and Lord Raptor's Golden Chainsaw, would be turned into their Dark Power. Meanwhile, they would get new Dark Changes that are, again, more defense-focused. Maybe Raptor could sing a tune that slows down the opponent, or maybe BB could have her sidekicks limit the stealing by shooting stunning bullets. I don't know. As for the final change relating to Dark Changes and sorry, getting some phlegm in the back of my throat. I've been talking for a bit. Getting some more water. Okay. As for the final change relating to dark change in specific, you see the background in the previous picture? It's neat, but it can get repetitive, and the more subtle dark changes may confuse who activated it. So now, the background would consist of a slightly distorted version of that fighter's home stage. In the case the fight was already on said stage, it would only get the filter. Before we get to the part that you may be actually interested in, there is one simple addition I think would be cool. Unique supers if you are using any of the dark forces. But let's stop stalling, and instead let us begin with the sinister main course. The Faces of Evil Veteran Roster. If there is something that connects horror movies and fighting games, is that they get immortalized by its faces. And Darkstalkers, being the horror monster fighting game, has some of the most iconic fighters there are. So we have to carefully craft this nightmare to be successful. But first, assuming we would treat this new entry as a commercial reboot, i.e. a reintroduction of the franchise to new generations, we need to look at some of the more successful games of this niche, Street Fighter IV and Mortal Kombat 9. On arcades, Street Fighter IV launched with 16 fighters, because that was but that was because most of the focus was on the creation of software for the cabins, plus the main appeal was the arcade ladder. But when the home console ports were worked on, they needed more characters, so it got increased to 25 fighters, including some new faces. Mortal Kombat 9 was a simpler case. Excluding the DLCs and Kratos as a pre-order bonus, it had a roster of 27 combatants, again featuring both old and new faces. Doing some quick math, we learned that 26 is the number between 26 and 27. So Darkstalkers 4 will have a roster of 26 Darkstalkers. Cool, so we have a space for all of the previous Darkstalkers and some new ones. Well, not exactly. You see, I'm not too confident that every previous Darkstalker will rise again. That is because of two reasons. One, it has happened before. In the release of Darkstalkers 3, Donovan Blaine, Whitzel, and Pyron were replaced by BB Hood, QB, Lilith, and Jeddah. While they were eventually restored in its console ports, I feel like the precedent is clear for the cuts. You can monetize it. Come on, guys, it's Capcom. You can easily make iconic characters like John Talbane and Rico as DLC. I mean, we all know that Mewtwo sold like pancakes in Smash 4. But even in the darkest moments, we need some optimism. There are a total of 18 Darkstalkers featured in the series. From here, I divided them into three main categories: survived, unknown, and killed. Basically, they could go or they could not, or they are being replaced. This is to give a view of the optimistic roster and the realistic roster they could go for. For the purposes of this doc, we shall operate in the optimistic roster, green and yellow. So without further waiting, let's see who survives to the sunrise. Feel free to skim past it. So we'll go through the characters. We got Anarcharis, the 12th pharaoh of the great Egyptian Empire. Strong design, distinctive playstyle, have appeared in games outside of their own. Got Baby Bonnie Hood, which is Red Riding Hood as a bounty hunter, I believe, which is awesome and hilarious, and I love it. We've got Bishamon, who is killed. Our first victim is the cursed samurai Bishamon. I'll read the reasons for who's getting cut, as I feel like that's more important. I did some research on the popularity of the main cast, and Bishamon tends to be the least popular camp. Sure, he looks cool, has a reasonably tragic backstory, and he possesses a sword that a few in the cast has, but on the grand scale of the series, he lacks the following. But the thing that confirms his absence in this game is his spoiler. Dmitry Maximov is coming back, because of course. Vampire Man does the vampire stuff, you can't go without him. Spoilers. That's great, look at that. Just spelling out spoilers with the bold letters. That took effort. I appreciate that. Cutting Donovan. Probably because, spoilers, he's probably dead. Love his design, though. That's a great sword. Felicia, because of course. One of the most marketable characters in the series. Xianko, from a character introduced Darkstalkers 1 to one from Darkstalkers 2. We have the jovial Zhang Shi. Great design. I mean, I could say that about most of these designs. Like, these designs have so much fun with various myths and cultures. It's so good. Huitzel is unknown. The ancestral robot Huitzel is a weird case on this roster. He functionally was the mid-boss of the original Darkstalkers arcade ladder, the Goros and the Antavos of the fighting game community, which prevented him from having that much background. Plus, he is definitely one of the least popular characters. But then he got greatly expanded upon in Darkstalkers 2, with him being reprogrammed to protect this small Mayan orphan, and having his moveset being more defensive to protect the child, and it warms my heart. Probably not making it in the base roster, but this is my one biased conclusion. Jeddah is gone. Really? In the realm of the Makai, there were 3 demonic nobles who ruled over all. But when Galnon the Wise Elder fell, a vacuum of power arose. Jeddah, the youngest of the nobles, planned to get more power from one of the seals between the Makai and the human realm, to usurp Belial, the strongest. However, one of his confidants, Ozam, the Soul Gourmand, convinced Jeddah to eat more souls than needed, causing his physical body to be destroyed and for Ozam to become emperor. Now, 100 years later, Jeddah seeks to return to seek power and claim the Makai and beyond. I bet you he's like a final boss that becomes back later as DLC. You can't get rid of Jeddah altogether. Jean Talbane. Well, Felicia and Morgan being more popular due to more generative methods. John Talbane gained popularity through the noble way of just being very cool. You haven't heard of him? Let me put it lightly. He is a werewolf who fights other monsters and controls his inner beast through the martial arts. He is like the fighting game character equivalent to Rocky Road Ice Cream, and personally, I love Rocky Road. You know what? You sold me as well. That's a sick werewolf. Lilith is killed. Could Capcom add her as a cheap way to increase the roster with a clone of the most popular character? Oh, definitely. But you see, I have something called Dignity, which is resistant towards greed. Plus, there's a good reason Lilith shouldn't be in the base roster, because spoiler! Plus, now Capcom has an excuse to make her DLC, because sometimes dignity and greed can be corporate. Lord Raptor is so... I love this character design so much. He is a motherfucking Australian rock star that rocked so hard he and his fanbase died in a concert, and the Satan equivalent resurrected him as a zombie. He may have less appearances than most of the other characters confirmed, but I wouldn't sleep well knowing I had the temptation of making him DLC. Everyone, man, woman, and in between, should be able to rock on.
Morgan merch is the only thing making money in the name of the entire franchise in the eyes of Capcom. And we are talking a lot of money. She is staying.
Pyron, in the far reaches of space, there exists a planet the size of our own galaxy, Hellstorm, a planet covered in fire, mimicking depictions of the mortal underworld. And in that wretched place, over 200 years ago, an ember was kindled, an ember with a hunger for conquest, who would evolve into the most powerful being, the Lord of Living Flames, Pyron. And then Donovan kicked his butt, so he already freaking died. I didn't feel I needed to cover this info with my highlighter trick used previously. Although, you could bring him back as like an ash elemental. Be like, okay, now he's dead now, and this is the flame that has gone out, or something like that. QB. Why do I find this creepy bee so... Why is she so cute? Why? She is cute. She combines the classic horror icons of aliens and the bugs and has some cool moves. But I feel that of the monsters introduced in D3, she is the least popular, but at this point I've already cut a decent amount of fighters that I feel comfortable with, so... yeah, I don't know. On one hand, Riku doesn't have that many appearances outside the series, and I don't feel like he offers that much uniqueness in the gameplay department. On the other hand, he is indeed curiously attractive for a fishman. Sasquatch is Canadian Donkey Kong. Enough said. Why doesn't that say survived right there? That's the best case for survived if I've ever seen one. And then Victor von Gurdenheim. He is the grappler of the game, has a cool design and backstory, and appeared in other games. Frankenstein's monster is a horror legend, yada yada yada. He marks the final character to appear on the roster. After an excruciating debate with me and myself, the roster has been divided into 9. 9 official returners, 5 official exclusions, and 4 characters that could go either way. But for the sake of maintaining my sanity, we're going to split this character into a nice 50-50 of veterans, green and yellow, and more interesting newcomers. Also, it's kind of fitting that we were having 13 of each. You know, unlucky. Oh yeah, that is good. I like that. Having to create 13 new fires sounds like a lot of work, 8-Bit, and you were right in claiming that. Luckily, I know some useful rituals to speed the process. The new blood. Yes, if I had to come up with 13 colorful and frightful Darkstalkers, it would prolong the creation of this dock and flow of it as it would quickly devolve into, hey, check out my OCs. But luckily for us, the future of the series has already been foreseen, and the seeds of my imagination were already planted in the fields of the haunted tales. For you see, Capcom has already shown us the obstacles our heroes shall face, and the characters who would rise for such an occasion. Plus, there has been a surging of fruitful patterns we ourselves can learn to control. What I'm trying to say is that we, or more like I, don't have to take that many creative liberties on how a Darkstalkers 4 could look as we already have a solid foundation on it. I'm not saying I shan't take these creative liberties, aka there will be OCs. Don't. Thank you. Honestly, I was kind of concerned when I read that, because if there's ever a series where I want to see people's OCs, it's Darkstalkers. Just seeing how people take myths and legends and just kind of spin them into fighting game playstyles. I might honestly argue it's the most interesting series to do that with. Just that I won't take a lot of them. But enough said, let's take a look at the parallel cast of Night Warriors, starting with the Defiers of Fate. Story-based characters. Yep, we are indeed starting with the most important group of characters of the whole game. The ones that we know are going to have a big role in the game. Which means they're going to be some of the biggest spoilers in the whole document. Unfortunately, with how Google Docs tends to get formatted, it would be very hard to skip an entire section and not see a little bit of it. And if I tried to use my trick of camouflaging the letters, it would look pretty ugly on a grand scale. However, there is one last trick I could do that satisfies both problems. In this sentence, there is a link to a oh. If I doesn't lost story, you want to know in detail the story because it's supposed to on the stuff. Okay. I will skip over this for the sake of this stream, in case anybody cares. But there is a link here for those. Also, it has not been shared, so I can't read it in the first place. Alright. If 8-Bit Wiseman is here. Recommend skipping this. Yes, I will skip this. I also don't have a choice because I don't have access to this file. It hasn't been shared. If you want at least a snippet of the 4 fighters of this section, let me do some poetry.
In this literary passage, you will find some clues, as clear as blood being red and the night being dark blue. 4 fighters appearing when the series to obscurity fell, but all still living for a search they each need to tell. A creature seeking for a way to reach the realm of light. A man seeking redemption and setting things right. A girl and her saint seeking to save their friend if they can. And a lord seeking power he refused to obtain when he was still a man. Whichever path you choose, I hope you are still enjoying the concept, because up next is possibly the most confusing part to some of you. Travelers of the Realms, crossover... I think this is more like, Sorry, I'm having to hang up reading crossover characters. I'm just trying to
collect my thoughts and explain where my brain is coming from. Bringing a series back after 25 years, only to make most of the newcomers crossover characters, I'm not sure how well that would go down. Is that fair? Like, I'm sure these are gonna be fantastic. But that might, like, how do I put this? If a new Monster Hunter game came out, added 15 new monsters, but 10 of them were just monsters from other, like, video games, that would be awesome. But I'd be a little bit concerned that it was losing, what made the games that came before. So, am I making sense right now? It's not a... I don't know. Now you think, why add crossover characters to an original IP? Wouldn't it make it so the original characters shine less and overall muddy the identity of the game? And I get your point. I really do. This is probably going to explain why my issue. It's the same issue some people have with, say, NetherRealm Studios, Soul Calibur, or even Smash to an extent, where instead of using the wide repertoire of characters they already own and people like, they instead think, but yeah, Goku. But you see, our crossover serves a greater purpose. Not to add, but expand the world of Darkstalkers. You see, when a company has a franchise that is inactive, they tend to leave it alone until everyone forgets or they are tired of people sending them 100k messages asking if a new F-Zero was happening. But Capcom, sometimes, thinks a little harder and says, hey, currently we aren't in the current space of supporting this series, but most of its themes and mechanics are very closely related to a series we are doing right now. So we can just fuse the worlds of both series together to create so the legacy of Game A can live on in Game B. A clear example of this method is in Street Fighter, where Street Fighter and Final Fight share a Metro City, plus FF fighters have been in the roster. Slam Masters features Mike Agar as one of the main fighters and references Street Fighter a lot. Sakura has appeared as an unlockable in rival schools and Akira as DLC in Street Fighter V. And it's been established that the King of Fighters tournament, which is another case of an in-company crossover, is real in the Street Fighter world. And while some series are still unsupported, please give me anything Mega Man related that isn't a Porter Gotcha, you cowards. This has allowed others to live once again and help the world building of each other. So obviously, why not take this opportunity and breathe new life to other games from Capcom's backlog? However, this isn't a pitch for Capcom Fighting Evolution 2, but Darkstalkers 4, meaning that we shouldn't obscure the original characters with crossover characters. So I've established 3 rules that this batch of warriors must follow. 1. The character must not be too popular to steal the show from the rest of the cast. 2. Character still needs to be well known to make people care for it. And 3. Character has to gel with the feel of Darkstalkers. But don't be fooled, because even with these limitations, I managed to dig 4 characters out of their graves so they could live once again in the realm of the living. And I'm sure at least one of them will make you say, hey, I remember that guy. And to start us in the Gallery of Freaks, we start with possibly the cleanest transition of the entire cast. Tessa, the sorcerologist from Red Earth. Out of this selection, Tessa is the character most of you will recognize. Originating as one of the 4 main playable characters in the fantasy-inspired fighting RPG boss rush game Red Earth, Tessa represents one of the most iconic figures in both fantasy and horror, the Witch. Masters of everything magical, making it so that she would feel more at home than the ninja, the martial artist, and the lion swordsman. Another reason why I specifically chose her over her contemporaries, as she's arguably the most iconic of the not the zombie ones, cast. As she has appeared in various pieces of merchandise and has playable roles in Pocket Fighter and SNK vs. Capcom Chaos, the one made by SNK. And as an added bonus, her OG arcade ladder gave us an excuse as to why she appears in the game, as her main motivation was sensing a strong dark magic aura that was threatening her home. We could do something similar, with, say, how she was continuing to study the magic of Ari's final boss when she foresaw a greater threat in another world. So she casted a cantrip to transport her to the Darkstalkers world to fight our game's final boss and prevent him from going to other realms. As for gameplay, I picture remaining similar to how it was in her original game, acting as a zoner with plenty of spells of various elements, but mainly ice as she was from the Magic Finland. to keep the opponent far away, accentuated by other witchy attacks added in later incarnations, such as a broom hover, attacking with her cat's rolling a ball, and making her hat roam around the stage. However, to keep her balanced, I think it would be neat tribute to her series that we add the EX bar of our Red Earth, mimicking how in any RPG, any form, your character starts relatively weak, but through progression it gets more powerful and flexible. Same here, you could start the match with subpar attacks, but as the Tessa player manages to continue to keep the opponent at bay, they would be rewarded with stronger options to continue their plan to win the match. This might sound too strong, but remember that Constitution isn't a wizard's best stat. The Tessa player should keep the rival away, and the rival should burst through Tessa's myriad of spells. With that, I should have hopefully convinced you that crossover characters can both help in the world building of the game and give a second wind to old classics. And speaking of old classics, our next character fits that role. Originating from one of Capcom's first iconic and most important of all hardest game series. But still, whenever this heroic fella manages to get the spotlight and protect its realm from evil ghosts, ghouls, and goblins, it always results in some of the best platformers in general, with their release in the SNES being a hidden gem. And I'm, of course, talking about of the elite warrior and legendary hero, Firebrand, the Red Armor, from Gargoyle's Quest. Oh, you foolish peasants, you thought I would be that obvious? That you predicted my plan? Well, too bad, because I can't even predict my own plans. In all seriousness, while the previous paragraph was an intentional misdirection for someone from more Arthurian qualities, Wiseman isn't that far off from the real character. Brief historical tangent, prepare yourself, it won't be the last one. In Ghosts and Goblins, one of the most iconic enemy types, and possibly the Waddle Dee of G&G, consists of the Red Armor, a mix of gargoyle and devil, notable for their small size, high mobility, and fire powers, and being a pain to deal with. And it was during these hard battles that players thought, hey, what if I was that dude? To which Capcom responded, great idea. And so Gargoyle's Quest released in the Game Boy in 1990, starring the honorable, but a little bit full of himself, Red Armor Firebrand, the bandana D of Red Armors, in a quest to stop an invading king and his forces from usurping the current ruler. Oh, playlist got to the next segment. Let's go back to the rest of the Darkstalkers. There we go. To stop an invading king and his forces from usurping the current ruler and, most important to him, creating havoc amongst the people of his home, the realm of the Makai. Yes, if you haven't paid attention, you've already realized what I'm implying, but just to make it clear, Darkstalkers and Ghosts and Goblins are already connected. So obviously, after the rise of the new Lord of Vampires, could possibly threaten the lives of the residents of the Makai, there's the legendary hero Firebrand, or a descendant as there were two different Firebrands, rises to the action to protect his people. Regarding his playstyle, I see it similar to how he was implemented in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Being a technical rushdown character with two stances, grounded and hover, determined by whatever move you inputted. In hover stance, he would be immune to any low-hitting attacks and ones that directly affect the ground, like say crouch kicks or a projectile that travels through the ground, and would be able to move in the air in the X-axis only, so there is two levels to say. For around 90 frames or 2-ish seconds. However, there are caveats with this stance. Mainly that he's slower in the air and you are more susceptible to aerials. While grounded, his default stance, he is faster and his combo game would be better, but you don't get any of the any of the benefits of hovering. While there will be a command that activates hover, the main method of going between stances would be through using specific moves that end in Firebrand on that stance. The clearest examples would be Hell's Elevator and Hell's Dive. Guess what does what? Meanwhile, other moves would differ to varying degrees depending on the current stance. Some examples would be that aerial normals face downwards at a 45-degree angle, medium fireball would have differing directions based on stances, his wall cling, yes he's going to have that, lasts longer airborne, and his Ridley's side special, but you can combo from and into it, would have changed arcs. Firebrand should be a character that weaves in and out, below and above the opponent, mixing the opponent up so their defenses are left open and bring hell into their systems. Firebrand in general is a character I feel is often overlooked. I mean, come on, it's the weird fusion between Ridley's power, Bandana D's soul, and satanic theming. the best of every world. A showcase of how giving the spotlight to the little guy can lead into the birth of some of the coolest characters in the medium. Plus, the fact that he appeared in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 also gives him cool points. We are talking about a game filled with love and attention to detail in both gameplay, content, and personality, only being arguably rivaled by its prequel, which admittedly is also pretty good. Where else can you say Spider-Man partnering with Mega Man? Akuma beating the life out of Thanos, and the appearance of a certain lovable fella I'm definitely not adding due to some sort of cultural bias. Amingo the Plant Man from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Okay, maybe there is a itsy bitsy tiny little bit of bias. Just a little bit, not much. Change in the pace, Amingo is what you would call a little bit of an anomaly, because his first appearance in anything is Marvel vs. Capcom 2, a crossover game, where characters from existing stuff meet. So how could a character first appear in a crossover game? Simple. Capcom just made them. Granted, there was much more thought put into him in the other three main guys, those being Abyss, Sanson, and Ruby Heart here. One was the final boss, one is the granddaughter of Sanson from the arcade game Sanson, and the other is a pirate lady searcher of magical trinkets with a ship that travels across multiple realms. Interesting, she was also apparently supposed to be a Darkstalker? Huh. So why are you adding this stupid cactus character over the character that almost got into a new entry? I hear you screaming over this information, and I get you. Well, it has been speculated that Amingo could have also been a scrapped Darkstalker newcomer. It would be more logical to choose the one we know was a scrapped Darkstalker. The thing is, Ruby doesn't entirely fit the vibe I'm looking for. Sure, pirates are certainly Halloween-y, but she doesn't explore the full potential of either a pirate or a trinket expert to the extent I'm comfortable with. Plus, she doesn't have the flexibility and hints of silliness the rest of the cast has. Maybe she was a ghost pirate, that could help. Hey! Just kill her, bring her back as an undead, and make her that the character! Amingo, meanwhile, offers a lot more moveset potential that was showcased in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and the extent of the plant monster trope. Granted, it isn't as common as pyroids, but they are cool when they appear. Plus, he was shown in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that he is willing to go to the end of the world to stop the bad guys from hurting his plant people, similar to Firebrand. Moving on to how Amingo would fight, it would be weird. The best way I could describe Amingo is a long-range heavyweight with a focus on damage rather than grapples, with stuff like turning his arms into a long-reaching carnivorous plant, his leg into a drill, and his body into a spiky Beyblade. Also, he would have a cannonball dash and a move where he creates little cactus kids to attack the opponents. They wouldn't do that much damage, but look at them have their little sombreros. That is a very fun mental image, I'm not gonna lie. Amingo doesn't have that much of a settled battle plan, aside from attempting to win. However, in the ever-changing ecosystem of the fight, one should be able to be as flexible as vines, yet resistant to the changes as a tree trunk. And with plenty of variety in Amingo's garden of moves, you should be able to survive the encounter like a cactus in the deserts of Mexico. Did you know Amingo has a skilled guitar player? Or that in Darkstalkers comics by Udon, it was explained that how the Makai also has a species of sentient plants, making it more reasonable for Amingo to appear lore-wise? Or how Amingo has more character than Korin? Low bar. But returning to the concept, I will admit that Amingo is probably in my top 10 Capcom characters I want to see get a new appearance. Shocking, I know. Just knowing he exists makes me feel a sense of joy, followed by the sadness knowing he only appears in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, followed by an appreciation for Capcom's array of cool designs. Hell, or Makai in this case, of all crossover characters I feel have cool designs and potential return to a trend, including our final and most obscure monster, the Wraith from Voodoo Master, from Slam Masters 2. The Wraith is a mysterious individual we have little information about. He made his debut in the brawl in the Capcom wrestling game Slam Master 2, Ring of Destruction. He is a decently buff wrestler born in New Delhi, India, acting as one of the game's major bosses. But something about him feels off. The tattered hood and loose cloth around his body, the green skin and almost claw-like hands. The posture and his face hidden with only his red eyes showing themselves. It's almost as if he wasn't human. The truth is that the Wraith is not just a wrestler, but a practitioner of the dark magic known as voodoo, which allows him to pull feats completely out of the human spectrum. His nails extend farther than what is comfortable, his face turns into a group of snakes to scare the opponent, his neck convulses and shoots fire from his mouth, his strength goes beyond even what you could achieve, he isn't even alive. And where does he obtain his power? Well, from a little obscure realm known as the Makai. The Capcom versus real, wake up peasants! Finally, I envision him working similar to how Huitzel worked in Darkstalkers 1, as a mid-boss in the main arcade ladder serving as the major henchman of insert main villain of Darkstalkers 4 here. But how would he do the boss stuff? Well, for starters, it would incorporate many wrestling maneuvers in honor of slam masters, flying presses, overhead throws, using the ropes to launch yourself into the opponent, etc. For another aspect, we retain the voodoo flavor he brings to the potluck. Again, the face snakes fire from his face, bites your face, yada yada. However, all of the previous crossover packs I've chosen embody some of the Halloween's most iconic tropes. Tessa is a clear parallel to witches and general magic, Firebrand showcases the more satanic theming and mixes in gargoyles and fire, and Amingo brings to the table the horrifying flora and wonderful cultural exchange some creatures can have. Wrestling and dark magic undertones don't usually go together, with a major exception, and don't fill that Halloween spirit. So what is the missing spice in Wraith's recipe? Well, let me talk you through my process. The Wraith, fundamentally, is a character unknown to anyone who faces him, a being of immovable physique and unstoppable power. An entity lurking in the shadows who joined a wrestling organization to hurt his opponents. A machine with the sole function to hurt, to kill, enveloped in a mystery and hidden behind a facade, maybe even a mask. TLDR, I get it. I'm treating the Wraith as a showcase of the masked killer archetype and the ultimate showcase of horror movies. Basically, I want him to be kind of like a glacier. A slow yet powerful individual whose sole presence and strength is enough to send any character in the roster a sense of unease, except maybe BB Hood. I want his attacks to be some of the strongest of the game, and for his grab game to be absolutely frightening, except maybe BB Hood. I want for him to homage some of the horror's greatest legends, for his claw sweeps to be reminiscent of Krueger, for his crawl to resemble the girl from The Exorcist, snakes burst from his chest like an alien, to have the physique, wow, I'm struggling to say physique, of Jason Voorhees and the dreadful aura of Mike Myers. I want him to be the embodiment of pure horror in the game. As someone that no matter how hard you try or how far you get, in the end it won't even matter, because the Wraith will always survive. Except against BB Hood. She's probably the scariest character lore-wise. And with that, we have finished this showcase of some of Capcom's most interesting rogues from the gallery of horror topics. While I easily thought of my picks, communicating my ideas and explaining the way these characters could expand the series ended up harder than I thought. I'm sure some of you in chat will disagree in that Darkstalkers should remain 100% pure from this crossover from this crossover nonsense, or that there are better options for guest characters. But at least to me, this group of 4 feels like the best candidates for my pitch. I think, just to kind of tangent off, because I've been narrating a lot, I think I half agree. I think Amingo is perfect. And I think Wraith works as well. I'm not as sold on Firebrand and Tessa, just because it doesn't give me that Darkstalkers extra level of, oh yeah, we're taking this concept and going like an extra level with it. Like, there's nothing on the level of, like, Lord Raptor being not just a zombie, but an Aussie zombie that rocks so hard that him and all of his fans died. Like, I just want another layer that these two don't quite get. I could see Firebrand as DLC. Like, these two would be fun as DLC. But I feel like these two work so well because they kind of just fit into Darkstalkers already. Am I making sense? Also, maybe kill the pirates and make her a ghost and add her too. I don't know. I just feel like you could do more with the concepts they're bringing to the table. Like, you could do something more crazy with a witch. You can do something more crazy with devil iconography. I would want those. Okay, I've got it. I wouldn't want the Darkstalkers versions of those concepts to be used on a crossover character like this, unless they were as crazy as the Darkstalkers designs. Like, Amingo fits it perfectly. And I think you convinced me on Wraith as well. Okay, but this is what I was really excited for. The Automatons of Imagination. Original characters, please do not steal. Whenever a new fighting game gets announced, there are always 3 constants people are going to ask about. Where is the setting? How's it going to play? And who's on the roster? And while the majority of speculation is about whether this character is going to return in this game, one can't deny there is a charm of seeing what new challengers arise, exploring the depths of a new system, expanding the world a little bit. Aaron Black from Mortal Kombat 10, Ayla from King of Fighters 15, Nagorda Yuki from Strive, and motherfucking Luke from the streets, just to name a few. So in a similar style to my rubber-type concept over a year ago, I need to create some new Darkstalkers. And mind you, I'm going to go all out. Yes, this is what I've been psyched for. Because if you thought I was going to be satisfied in just saying the monsters I would base the newcomers on, then oh boy, clearly you don't know the horrors of me. So yes, the next 5 characters, aside from one small exception, but we'll get there, are ones whose only appearances are in the cryptic labyrinths of my imagination and the scrolls of this very concept. Each of these characters will be presented first by their names, species, and nationality, followed by a drawing that I did, yes, I'm even more excited, half being the character and the other half being the moves they do. After that, a paragraph on their background and real-life ties, and then another one on their character and playstyle, with maybe some sprinkles of how I landed on their concept. So now that we have established the parameters, and you don't have any goosebumps, let's take a look at my lab and see what I've created. But speaking of cryptics, or rather, cryptids, Marley the Moth Girl from West Virginia. I love the pet rock with the googly eyes. Cryptozoology is the pseudo-study of unidentified, rare, or extinct creatures, appropriately called cryptids in a modern context, with the confirmation of said creatures' existence usually relying on records of said animals from oral tradition, of ancient myths and ancient tribes and myths, or physical evidence that is 100% not falsifiable. Sure, most of the methodology used in cryptozoology is riddled with contradictions that prevent it from being an actual science, but when it lacks credibility, it chooses to focus on creativity because cryptids are pretty cool. The Loch Ness Monster, that just went through a blender in my mouth. El Chupacabra, the Jersey Devil. All names that have etched themselves into horror legacy. Plus, it's the closest the US has to some of the standardized mythology, aside from Native American folklore, other tall tales like Paul Bunyan or Pecos Bill, or Theodore Roosevelt. Yes, DLC character, Theodore Roosevelt. Just Theodore Roosevelt. And since Sasquatch is already present in the game with Sasquatch, a second cryptid is suited to follow. Look, we already have 5 universal monsters. We can double dip on American cryptids. So the first newcomer I'm pitching is based on one of my personal favorites, the Mothman. Marley is a lonely, yet still cheerful girl living in the marshes of West Virginia, the home of the IRL Mothman. With her physical design taking inspiration from the fashion of 1960s WV, the first sightings of West Virginia. The Mothman drawing from Wikipedia and the Vogelkrebs bird face for her wing pattern. She tends to spend her life hiding in the trees, admiring the night sky and playing with her pet. Oh, it's actually a pet rock! Yes! and current best friend Rocco. But despite still enjoying a simple life, she one day hopes to eventually find someone she could truly call a friend. Because Rocco isn't that good at baseball. That's so cute! And hey, looks like that day arrives sooner as another girl seems to have stumbled near her marsh. I just hope her red hood doesn't get— oh no! Anyways, to continue this theme of childlike innocence, I pitch her fighting style that she isn't actually fighting. You are just getting in the way of her playtime. And that's very mean. She could be tossing Rocco up into the air so she could catch him, jumping and diving through the stage, doing a cute dance to maybe as a counter as he disperses powder since moths do get very powdery. And of course, she would hug you for a grab. Oh, it's cute! The cuteness is overwhelming! 1 down, 4 more to go. God, why did nobody tell me that making OCs wasn't as easy as it seems? And this next character is going to make you sure you're in a very merry mood. Rowan Nikolauson, the Gingerbread Kid. Do you know who my favorite character on the base roster is? Well, I thought I had already set as precedent for my favorite submissions, but I will answer. In the game, where you can make werewolves, zombies, vampires, and demons fight each other, I will always defeat them with Little Red Riding Hood carrying several lethal weapons. Why? Isn't it obvious? BB Hood is both sticking out like a sore thumb and seamlessly fits in. Her basic concept is taking this fairy tale for kids and then twisting it so that not only can she work for the horror fighting game with some blood and demons, a genre in no way appropriate for kids, but she herself becomes a monster far scarier than her peers. That's genius! Sure, it is an open secret that a large majority of these older fairy tales can get a little grim, but the premise is still there. So naturally, I want to double down on that, since I like it and it's my pitch. But I don't want to add just another fairy tale, as I want for this edition to contrast the game in a different way to Hood. So what did I add? Jesus, Mickey Mouse, and Santa Claus. Christmas! Rowan's design actually originated from his playstyle, since I needed a weapon user after I had intentionally cut every major one from the base roster, except Lord Raptor, he's cool. Eventually, I landed on a semi-stance character that is a mix of a speedy fencer for maintaining pressure and cornering the opponent, and an axe user for punishing the opponent for being in the corner and doing heavy but slow damage. Next, I thought about how I would— if you squint a little bit, a cane could be used as both an axe and a foil depending on where you hold the cane. After that, I thought, hey, wouldn't it be funny if it was a candy cane and basically this character weaponizes Christmas with specials and such? Followed by, wait, that's actually a really good concept, I'm going to do that. That is actually a really good concept, thank you for doing that. But then I thought, wait, it can't be Santa, it would be too cliche, and I don't want Lord Raptor to kill Santa. So after basically discarding most of the Christmas mythos, I finally reached the tale of the Gingerbread Man, where another thought arose. Wait, if the Gingerbread Man is a pastry, wouldn't that make the baker his parent? Followed by, what if Santa was the father of this gingerbread character? Then I realized I basically pitched Pinocchio Christmas Edition, then I realized I liked Pinocchio Christmas Edition, so that's where it ends. That was a phenomenal train of thought. Other important aspects of Nikolausson's design is that he's Finnish, because some claim Santa is Finnish, from the North Pole is too obvious. His clothing is inspired by Finnish attire. In-game, it would be hinted far more subtly that Rowan's father is the Santa in comparison to this document. Never seen his real face. Nikolausson being an obfuscated way to say son of Nicholas. Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. His reason to stop the big bad is to prevent him from destroying the joy from the world, according to his father. And I did steal Villager's tree and Scrooge McDuck's pogo. But enough of these goody two-shoes. We need some more meanies on the roster. And luckily, I found a pretty good bad guy. Ooh! You're fun! Relic the Marauder from the Mediterranean. Long before man was able to write on paper, they etched their stories into the very walls they lived in. Tales of wars and voyages, heroes and monsters, mortals and gods. From the sands of Arabia to the seas of Greece, these myths would eventually solidify into one of the most expansive worlds in human history. So why don't we add one of these creatures to the Darkstalkers? There are plenty of options too. We could go for the obvious pick of Medusa or a Minotaur, maybe go for a Jinn or an Oracle of Delphi for a more mystical character. A Chimera would give a very interesting body type for us to craft a moveset. I toyed for a while on pitching Arachne as the mother of spiders as maybe a side villain. And don't get me started on how many gods would be willing to partake. Fun fact, I like the Percy Jackson's books. Me too. Man, if only there was a way to encompass all of this mythology into a single character. Oh wait! Someone already did it! In 2012, to promote the re-release of a Darkstalkers collection instead of a Darkstalkers 4, Capcom made Embrace the Dark, an OC contest where artists from all around the world, aka USA, Canada, and the European Union, pitched their hypothetical characters to the series. And while there were plenty of cool designs, seriously go to the Internet Archive because frankly I could have easily filled the newcomers with just results from that competition, there could be only one winner, and that was Gerald Walker with his character, Relic. I feel that considering this is what Capcom themselves consider the best OC, that it wouldn't be unreasonable for them to contact Gerald to maybe add him to a real game. Plus, there is a precedent for fan-created designs to appear in Capcom games. Who do you think designed the Robot Masters through Mega Man 2 to 8? Now, I could explain Relic, but that would be impolite. Take it away, Walker. He is a grappler striker. Monster type is an undead grave robber. Skeletal face, wrapped in turban, body is decaying flesh, dressed in Arabic sand attire. Shoulders covered in rusted pauldrons, legs mummy wrapped. Leather straps with buckles across the body. Used to hold weapons collected from warriors' graves. Has King Midas's hands attached to his right forearm. Still infused with the Golden Touch spell. Also carries a still very alive Medusa's head to turn foes to stone upon a gaze. The only things I could add is that Stanley, the artist behind Resurrection's art and Relic's updated design, added Pandora's box to Relic's toolkit so he had a place to save all his trinkets. And that in the story would probably be interested in the power exuded by the final boss. Now, with the main exception dealt with, I promise the rest are actually mine, including this next character. Well, hello! You know, from a place. My pleasantries, peasants. It seems I have arrived just in time for the elusive peasant's perspective of the peasants. Okay, to be fair, I'm always on time. How? Well, let me introduce me properly. I'm pronounced like the two syllables for the word that defines a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that, when investigated or explained, may prove to be well-founded or true. I sound like that one voice you can't ignore. Some of my hobbies include gaming, messing with people, and redacted. And I'm from the fourth dimension. You see, when 8-Bit was thinking for newcomers, he didn't just want to represent other cultures or various stories. He wanted to showcase some subgenres of horror itself. Darkstalkers has classic universal monsters, some sci-fi, some religious subtext, and then 8-Bit expanded on cryptids, fairy tales, mythology. Still, he knew there was a prominent side he could ignore: cosmic horror. Popularized by professional writer and person who had questionable views, H.P. Lovecraft, cosmic horror persevering humanity through the unknown, the incomprehensible. That's one straight up weird. The problem with 8-Bit focus is that it would be difficult to design a character without just doing a parody of Cthulhu or Nyarlathotep. Luckily, he recognized that one common thing about these stories is the presence of beings from higher dimensions, not including geometry and such, and thus I thought, therefore, I was. Now I know you're asking why would I fight, because I can see all through you that it's just this moment. Well, what you saw is my true body, just my shadow. Just like you three-dimensional beings project two-dimensional shadows, must four-dimensional beings project three-dimensional shadows. And it would be my shadow the one who is fighting, as you would go insane if you saw the real me. This disconnect is me moving through 4D, my shadow being projected onto your dimension to allow my shadow to do things that are simply impossible to the lines of your reality. Like I said, they divided the body into two, teleport all around the map to create a long web from limbs. I can't keep this up. with various projectiles. Yes, I'll confess I'm a zoner player, so my shadow will follow you. Basically, treat it like the shadow doing figures on a blank canvas, except I could hurt you. Fun. Now I gotta retire. The 1,000-Year Door remake won't finish itself. Just let me pull 8-bit from the fourth dimension and done. Anti-hello. Sorry. I kind of just had an idea and ran with it there. But cosmic horror thingamabobber. I like it. That's fun. Kind of realized just halfway through narrating that, okay, like, if this is from the fourth dimension, it should be kind of impossible to understand. Next character, Kartika the Kuntilanak. Shit. Kartika the Kuntilanak. Okay, got it. Remember all the way back in the Marley showcase where I said making OCs was hard? I'll be honest and say this was by far the hardest one to make. I was simply out of creative juices, and me trying to fit as many archetypes, cultures, and other designs into this pitch, combined from both what the base roster and the crossover characters offered, basically placed me into a corner of my own doing. But you know, sometimes the greatest ideas need some little extra pressure to be born, and when the cogs started turning, they don't stop turning. Here's how the conversation with myself on the creation of Kartika turned out. What is a significant horror story I could borrow? Well, one of the more classic ones I like and has entered public domain is the Phantom of the Opera. Could be a cool moveset with his mannerisms and theme, but there's no way I can deviate that much from Eric. Okay, what is another option? Ooh, maybe Ringu. Especially considering I only pitched like 3 female characters and 2 of them already exist. Sounds good, but Japan feels like a cop-out. Good point. I'm sure there are probably many variations of the vengeful female spirit I could use, like there are many different dragons or zombies. I'm right. Let's check the internets. Some interesting interneting later. So Indonesia has this Kuntilanak, or Pontianak in the original Malay, which is indeed similar to what the Japanese call an onryo. Long black hair, white dress, sharp nails woman. Hey, that sounds neat, plus Indonesia feels like a blind spot when representing Asia, but I feel I should add some spice. Yeah, let's see. Search as notable aspects of Indonesian culture. No way! You wouldn't guess it, but apparently operas are pretty popular there. And what was the first character we pitched? 8-bit, you are a genius! I know. I can make the mannerisms and musical themes of the Phantom with the almost frenetic movements of this Kuntilanak. Kuntilanak. There's an A there that just loses me every time. I know. The design could be so cool, maybe having a beautiful dress and the Phantom's iconic mask covering any scars. And both stories involve vengeance, which is a pretty important theme in horror. Wait, who would this character be vengeful towards? I mean, the person who killed them, obviously, but yeah, but who killed them? Oh god, I'm not done here. So, maybe she died in an opera she was doing. Like a staged murder? No, maybe more like an unplanned accident. This still doesn't answer the question. I know, but I don't want to create another character, and I'm not sure anyone on the roster could have done it. That's true. We basically need someone who correlates to the musical theme to serve as a rival. Maybe have something more chaotic or unrefined in contrast to the subtlety of opera. Lives near Indonesia for it to make sense to share space, and preferably we know where involved with an event that killed a bunch of people and could reasonably add one to their death toll. If only a character like that existed in the series, maybe even a known one. Indeed. Remembers the initial guitar riff of Pat to the Bone. The big gasp! Holy fuck, Lord Raptor is literally the perfect rival for this character. I'm a design genius, I know! Wait, there's still the matter of gameplay. Just make it a rushdown with maybe a musical disjoint. And the name. I haven't thought about the names of our characters. Let's not address that. Hey, but how long is this document? At this point, 52 pages. Is this my longest concept? Yes. Why can't I just make like a 3-page month pitch? Because I have to respect Spooky Month. Good point. Good lord, that took a long time. Wait, we finished the original characters? Which means we finished the newcomers. Which means we finished this concept. I'm free. Who would have guessed that pitching an entire game would take over a year and 50 pages? I should have guessed that, especially when I knew I'd be starting college in September. But anyway, with that, we have reached the end of this spooky concept. Will Darkstalkers 4 be a reality? Probably not. Not probably not. Every game series will eventually come back. As we've gone through this playlist twice. But yeah, it'll be back eventually. It's just a matter if it'll happen within your lifetime. Probably not. If Street Fighter V, with all its flaws at launch, managed to live over 6 years, then Street Fighter 6 will definitely reach 2030 with how great of a game it is. Plus, while Capcom is making a comeback, some habits die hard, and ignoring old series is one of those. Beautiful Joe, Okami, Asura's Wrath, Marvel vs. Breath of Fire, Mega Man. But let's not be sad, because despite all their flaws, I will always love Capcom. I will always love the series they have. And one of those series is Darkstalkers. Fluid and tight gameplay, fantastic animations for the arcades, a cast of memorable characters that even your grandpa knows about, all elements that help solidify it not only as a good game, but even a great game, but one of the greatest fighters and a wonderful tribute to everything lurking in the dark. Because you must remember, to ignore what you read, Halloween is forever, and Darkstalkers are not dead. Thanks for reading. I do love this cactus boy. He's my favorite. And here's just some fun sources as well. That was great! I don't know much about Darkstalkers apart from just adoring the character designs. One of those game series where you have a lot of an appreciation for it, but you just never played it. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I do kind of stand by my thoughts on the crossover characters. The fact that a lot of them were essentially already Darkstalkers helps a lot. But I think it's so important when a game is essentially commercially rebooted that it needs to have its own core identity first and then branch out from that. Like, I could easily see these characters as DLC, but I think, like, returning, it's really important to showcase that, yeah, we're back and we are fully confident in our new identity, you know? Okay, real quick, everyone in chat, I want to hear a Darkstalkers OC. Get me something good, because I need to get some water before we move on to the next one. So I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. Share your ideas for other cool characters, like this amazing cactus man right here. Okay, be right back. Okay. Let's see what people came up with. Where did this start? We've had Parody of Slenderman. I definitely want something related to creepypasta. Ooh, that's fun. Killer Clown Car. Oh, wow, yeah. That's kind of... How does that not happen yet? Alright, I like it. A Dreamweaver. Okay, okay. Pile of bones that form into a dino that grows into a kaiju reference. Cool. Krampus-based Darkstalker. Yes, please. Animal robot to parody FNAF. Some kind of animatronic, definitely, yeah. Boogeyman connected to the child's nightmares. Very good. Angus McCoy, the Disco Minotaur. That one, yeah, I'm 100% down for Angus McCoy, the Dark Disco Minotaur. I think this would be an inverse to the usual Darkstalkers flair, being overtly angelic instead of demonic. However, they would not be the happy angel of light that the Renaissance painted. Parody of Sonic.exe, where the joke is he's not scary at all. A hive mind of Halloween candy. I think it's still possessed by a mecha statue. Anything parasite, possessing a farmer, a slime which can adapt to any element and shapeshift at will, a golem, and a leprechaun for funsies. Evil Easter Bunny, a plague doctor, is crazy cat lady. These are so good. What's that one? If I had to choose one, it would be based off of the myth of Anansi, which is an African myth about a... hold on, let me just pull up a picture. So, not this one, but kind of just half spider, half man. Almost a Zidane-like character in the mythos. Because I feel like if you're gonna have a game based around fear, you gotta have spiders in some way. Like, it's the #1 phobia across the entire world. And I think pulling from that myth in specific of just this, okay, we took this terrifying creature and just made it into, like, a really good dude. That would be fun. Okay, let us move along. So, where were we? Alright, we got we're only halfway through. Okay. How long is this one? 12 pages? Yes! Thank God. Okay. Alright, moving on. So, returning after a long way away, and the sequel to their first idea that was showcased here. From MeatMage, Lord Delarin for Smash. And I'm sure you were just as confused as me when seeing this. This is the main antagonist of For the Frog, The Bell Tolls. MeatMage brought the Prince of Sable, one of the two, like last year, and now we're getting the villain. He is a giant snake and leader of the Crokians that invaded the Millefoil Kingdom, wishing to marry Princess Tiramisu and create an empire for himself. Unfortunately for him, Lord Delarin, upon conquering the kingdom, couldn't find Tiramisu anywhere and had to go into hibernation for the winter, so he ordered his Crokian soldiers to keep the citizens in line and search for the princess as he slept, or else. He awoke to the Prince of Sable, Sable, I can never remember, who had arrived at the kingdom, defeated all of Delarin's men, and climbed to the top of the stolen castle. But all he found was Delarin, shriveled and asleep. He surely thought that this small snake would be the mighty conqueror he was meant to defeat, and yet, sure enough, Delarin awoke and regained his massive stature in an instant, engaging the prince in combat. The prince was on the back foot, unable to contest with Delarin's great strength and size, but help arrived in the form of Dr. Mad Seinstein, piloting his life's work, the Agari Z. The doctor was close to defeating Delarin, but missed his final attack, giving him an opening to strike. Seinstein's last resort was performing a healing dance that would restore the prince to his full strength so he could slay the snake once and for all. But unfortunately, the healing... Also, other important Darkstalkers character, you need a snake too. So let's put Delarin in Darkstalkers as well. You gotta have a spider, you gotta have a snake. Two biggest phobias. But unfortunately, the healing does not discriminate, and Delarin ended up getting healed as well, returning to his full power yet again. Right, yes. Sharing document. Thank you for the reminder. Boop, boop. All seemed hopeless until Prince Richard burst into the room, knocked the doctor's mech aside, and claimed that all he was needed to defeat Delarin was himself and his men. Unfortunately, it seems Richard did not account for the fact that he and his men were both still transformed into frogs. It's a long story. And all of the custard soldiers ended up getting swallowed by the royal snake. Delarin finally managed to corner the two princes, only for the spring bell to chime and cause Richard to transform back into a human. But not just him, as the custard soldiers yet to be digested by Delarin were also reverted to their human form and began to attack him from the inside until he spat them all out. After taking heavy damage from Richard, Delarin activated his last resort, a magic barrier that protected himself while launching away any who came close, Richard included. Once more, Delarin had the two dead to rights, but decided to gloat a bit about his impending victory and their assured demise, only for a sword to come flying through the doorway and hit him straight in the eye, taking it out and breaking part of the barrier. Alas, it was the captain of Tiramisu's Royal Guard, Polnareff, who had disguised himself as a foreign merchant under Delarin's reign of terror. The Prince of Sable was finally able to penetrate the barrier with the use of the legendary sword, the Snake Killer, and defeat Delarin, who fades away, presumably defeated. But what if, in secret, Delarin survived his battle and has been plotting his revenge on those who beat him ever since? With the Prince of Sable ideally joining Smash, now is the perfect time for the snake to strike. Design flop. That's some good artwork. I love that. Art by Charge. Similarly to the Iron Giant in Multiverses, Delarin's appearance in Smash is a canonical continuation of his character after For the Frog the Bell Tolls concludes. His reveal trailer of having him in hiding and receiving the great news of the Prince of Sable joining Smash. Ideally, he would. Let me have this. Because of this, Delarin's design would be slightly altered, as he will be missing an eye due to Polnareff's sword. In the time between his defeat and joining Smash, Delarin has pondered how he could have possibly lost against such a weak opponent, but came to the following conclusions. 1. The Prince had help. If Delarin only had to fight the Prince of Sable, he would have won without a doubt. And lucky for him, he had the aid of both Seinstein, Richard, and his men, as well as Polnareff. Maybe if Lord Delarin had his own men fight alongside him, this wouldn't be an issue. He'll consider that, but he isn't too keen on the idea of relying on those lesser than him in a fight. 2. Not enough magic. Despite being a powerful warlock, his magic abilities, Delarin didn't actually use any of his abilities other than his barrier when it came down to a fight. After realizing what caused his downfall, other than his own hubris, Delarin took notes for how he should reign supreme in the world of Super Smash Bros. An archetype that Smash is currently missing is a true summoner, a character that is able to summon minions to aid them in combat, unless you count DDD Brawl or Bowser Jr. I've seen many concepts, even made some myself, for characters that could do this, but something I've never seen before is a character with the unique ability to counter this type of character, making them an anti-summoner. Delarin is both of these things. He's a character with the ability to summon minions that allow him to assert his power over all over the stage, but is designed to counter other summoners and the likes of them, such as puppet fighters or those pesky ice climbers. Don't worry, Delarin won't be completely helpless if he isn't facing against someone with summons. He can still perform perfectly fine against a character or of another archetype. Think of how characters with reflectors fare against characters who lack projectiles. His magical capabilities will also be greatly expanded on. I won't exactly be making anything up. Everything I add that Delarin doesn't use in his limited appearance will be some sort of reference to the source material. He also has taken some time to strengthen his digestive system to make sure he can dissolve his meals faster than they can retaliate from inside his stomach. I will also be taking inspiration on how an actual snake would realistically fight. I know this particular design philosophy has been detrimental to certain Smash Fighters designs in the past, but I already had the playstyle I went with in mind for Delarin. It just so happened to fit how a snake would work in a fighting game. And I won't be taking inspirations from real-life snakes for Delarin's animations. So, he is the Summon Slaying tank. He has great range on normals, straight control, great survivability, great ground movement, good speed for a heavyweight, various ways of healing, and counter-summoning. Weaknesses is a very large hitbox, certain tools can backfire, terrible air movement and jumps, terrible turnaround speed, and terrible disadvantage state. Got some stats there, I'll just linger there for a second, because I don't like reading stats. 1 out of 10 for turnaround. He is the slowest boy. Also pathetic jumps. Gimmick 1. Gulp. Lord Delarin's normal moves are made up of 2 types of attacks, only one exception, tail attacks and bite attacks. Tail attacks have great range but extend Delarin's hurt box, as well as having somewhat low damage and speed compared to his bite attacks, which lack the range but are fast to come out and deal a bit more damage. But that's not all there is to them, as they are Lord Delarin's main way of summon slaying. If the Lord Delarin lands any of his bite attacks on a summoned minion, a puppet fighter's puppet, or anything in between, they will not just be damaged and washed away like normal opponents, but it will instead be swallowed whole by him. This causes a stock icon of whoever he ate to appear above Lord Delarin's damage percentage, with Lord Delarin able to have 3 being swallowed at the same time, being unable to swallow more if he's reached max capacity. After the stock icon appears, it will slowly fill like a meter from below with a green liquid that represents how far Delarin has gotten into digesting them. It takes 8 seconds for a bean to become fully digested, and if that happens, they will be automatically KO'd, and Lord Delarin will heal back 25% of damage. However, if Delarin takes enough damage before the bean is digested, he'll be forced to spit them out, which not only releases the summon, but will actually deal 10% to Delarin in recoil damage. And if he swallowed multiple beans, he will spit out the one that has been swallowed the longest. While releasing the bean is obviously a good thing, when Delarin spits out the bean, they will actually count as a projectile that could catch the opponents off guard. Interesting! They also have other unique qualities, such as nullifying weak, non-energy projectiles, and one more that I wouldn't elaborate on just yet. While this concept has made my ideal image of Smash in mind, it's probably best to note that what would count as a summon in Smash already. That is, Assist Trophies, Pokeball Pokemon, Peach's Toad, the second Ice Climber, All Norse Pokemon, Rosalina's Lumas, Morgana and Joker's Taunts, and Rex and Pyramithra's Taunts. That's hilarious. Someone can taunt on you, and you can avoid... They can choose not to punish the taunt to instead just eat the person they're taunting with. We brought Rex into Smash Bros. Just to get him eaten by a giant snake. Gimmick 2 is Magic Barrier. Lord Delarin completely lacks the traditional bubble shield that all other characters have, with the semi-exception of Yoshi, with it instead being replaced by his Magic Barrier, made up of 7 orbs that will spin around him. The Magic Barrier will actually have a weak activation hitbox that goes away shortly after. Other than that, it will work like a normal Smash Shield where it blocks damage but can be broken if it blocks too much. However, there is actually a gap in between 2 of the orbs that well-spaced attacks may be able to poke through, and hit Delarin even while he is shielding. Delarin actually does have access to a shield special similar to Steve and the Inkling, which has him send the barrier forward as a projectile in a similar manner to Mega Man's Leaf Shield. It will retain its damage-blocking properties while also being capable of dealing damage, and will travel forward, still spinning for a good distance. While this is obviously a great out-of-shield option, Delarin will be unable to use his barrier for a while sending it out. Making him unable to shield and attempting to do so will result in him being put in a shield break state instantly. Since Delarin is a giant snake, I would imagine I should probably describe how he animates. While in idle, Lord Delarin stands upright, like the images I've been showing of him so far, with his walk having to remain upright while slithering. His crouch has him completely lie down, and his crawl has him slither forward while low to the ground. His jumps have him coil his tail like a spring shape to push off the ground, though this doesn't get him very high, and his ledge grab has him holding on by his teeth. He says, imagine Pyra Mithra being teamed with Delarin and sacrificing Rex to be eaten so their teammate can heal. That's amazing! He also carries items in his mouth and dashes by quickly moving in a wave pattern going up and down. Jab is Om Nom Nom. 3-hit combo, about what you expect, he bites 3 times. Up tilt is Rattlesnake. Lifts his tail in the air behind him and shakes it from side to side. That's fun. Down tilt is it's a tail sweep. What do you expect its snail to do? Side tilt is Serpent Snapper, bites forward. And dash attack is Bounding Bite. He dashes forward and he bites. Smash attacks. Side smash is Flaming Fireball. Charges it up and spits it as a projectile. Quite small and does not grow any bigger with charge, but will become stronger and travel further and faster. While not a power Lord Delarin demonstrates, it is one performed by snake statues in the Eclair Palace, his lair, so I assume he could do it as well. Up smash is the Corkscrew Chomp. Crouches down as his body coils into a spring shape while the move charges. Once the move is released, Delarin's body literally springs upward as he performs a bite, similar to Piranha Plant's up smash. And down smash, tailspin, it's a snake. Neutral air is Coil and That is an amazing name! Similar to Charizard's neutral air, he just coils up and swings it around. Forward air is an air chomp. He's a snake. He bites. Up air is Delarin flip. Forms a backflip while whipping his tail above him in an arc. Back air is a tail spring. Coils his tail and stabs it backward. Also has the whole Corrin back air launches you forward kind of deal. And then down air is Snake Spike, faces the camera and performs a front flip, whipping his tail down directly below him, similar to Piranha Plant's down air attack. Alright, grabs. Lord Delarin grabs opponents by ensnaring them with his tail and pummels them by biting with his pummel, actually healing them by 3% each time it is used, although it is one of the slowest pummels in the game. Forward throw is a point-blank fireball blast. I wish more characters had that. There's somebody it would fit with. Back throw is Royal Ride. He uses his body like a slide for the opponent to send them away. That's fun. Up throw is Snake Squeeze. Squeezes the opponent with his tail and causes them to be launched upwards. And down throw is Snake Slam. Releases the opponent and slams his tail onto them. Alright, simple character. It's a snake. So how do the special moves move forward with that? Because I remember noticing something similar with Princess Sable, where the base character was super, like, I don't want to say generic, but simplistic, because it's a simple character, but then the specials were just the most hilarious things ever. Lord Delarin, after a brief wind-up, bites forward. If this hits an opponent, Lord Delarin will sink his fangs into them, injecting them with his venom and causing them to be turned to stone, leaving them open for an attack unless they can mash out in time or are hit by a strong enough attack. Despite the long startup, this move has very little end lag, but cannot be cancelled or released early. If an airborne opponent is hit by this move, they will almost instantly fall straight down as if their fall speed had increased 100 times more, similar to when a hero uses Kaklang in the air. If they hit the ground, the stone shatters and they are released early, but if nothing is below them, you know what happens. They are also capable of damaging opponents who they fall on top of, and are capable of spiking after initially being turned. However, this can also hit Lord Delarin himself, so he needs to be careful. This move has a unique property, as it can also transform incoming projectiles or summons into a stone block if it hits them. Interesting. The blocks essentially act like small walls, platforms of their size depending on what was transformed. They can block attacks from opponents, but if they take enough damage or enough time passes, they will be destroyed. Although Lord Delarin can have as many blocks on screen as he needs. That could get really silly in team games. Just slowly building a fortress for your teammates to just zone from as you slowly turn all their projectiles into stone. That could be really funny. If Lord Delarin hits a stone block with his side smash, it will explode, dealing a large amount of damage to any fighters close enough, Lord Delarin included. I love the self-damage as well. This is great. Despite being a bite, this move does not count as a bite attack, so it does not swallow people here. Side special is Frog Curse. Would conjure up a dark spiral of magic in front of himself that resembles Robin's Nosferatu, acting as a command grab with a long startup and ending lag. When the move lands, the dark shadowy energy will surround the opponent and completely obscure them from the camera being in a puff of smoke. For in a puff of smoke, they are released. However, upon being released, the opponent will have been transformed into a frog, although some of their features will be intact, such as Mario keeping his hat and mustache. I wish this game did more things with this. You just have Kirby, and that's it. There is so much more fun you can be had there. Although the base model will always be the same, being how frogs look in the frog for the frog the belly. Wow. Narrations. We've hit the 4-hour mark, and my tongue is starting to get twisted. 1 second. Okay. The opponent's transformation will last for 5 seconds and cause them to become significantly lighter, but they also become very small, smaller than even Pichu, and are therefore harder to hit, especially when crouching. While in frog form, the opponent will have access to 3 ways of attacking: a single hit jab where they kick forward, a neutral air where they stick their tongue out and spin horizontally, and a grab where they send their tongue out, and while they cannot throw the opponent, their pummel causes them to heal back a small amount of damage. They also gain significantly higher jump heights, increased dodge distance, and vulnerability. However, if Lord Delarin manages to land any of his bite attacks on a foe that has been transformed, he will actually heal back a certain amount of damage depending on the strength of the attack. Up special is Mystic Warp. This is one of Lord Delarin's more standard moves. It's a simple, long-range, non-damaging, omnidirectional teleport where he disappears and reappears with a puff of smoke. This is a very good recovery to make up for Lord Delarin's very poor jumps. This move won't actually put Lord Delarin into freefall, but it does have a long ending lag. So this is kind of like, with his jumps being so awful, this is really his only way of actually, like, aerially combating people. Just gotta up special straight upwards and try to intercept them halfway through. Down special is the Croakian Soldiers. Summons a soldier in front of him. Upon being summoned and touching the ground, the soldier will begin to walk forward until it has reached a ledge or touches a wall, where it will turn around and begin walking in the other direction. If an opponent is in front of them, they will ready the trident for a moment before thrusting it forward, acting as a relatively strong attack that gives the opponent a short chance to avoid it. However, if the opponent who has been transformed into a frog gets into the range, instead of using their trident, they will instead take out an empty snack. Wow! Empty sack! Jeez! And swing... Oh my gosh. And swing it forwards overhead similar to how Nabbit does on the Mushroom Kingdom's U stage. Although it has the same startup as the Trident Thrust, if this successfully lands, the opponent will become trapped in the sack and the soldier will change its behavior, now trying to walk towards wherever their lord is so they can deliver the transformed opponent to him, although the opponent can escape early by mashing. This puts the timer until the opponent transforms back to normal on hold, and the soldier will only release... Hold on a second. I'm gonna zoom in real quick. The font size, it's just a little... not hard to read, but... There we go, that's better. Where was I? Mashing. This puts the timer until the opponent transforms back to normal on hold. Oh my gosh. Wow. My mouse just really gave up in the last 5 minutes. I'm terribly sorry. Let me get some more water. Okay. Lord Delarin can only have one soldier out at a time. And these can be attacked, and while they can't flinch or take knockback, they can still take damage, will be KO'd upon taking too much. While this may not seem like a relatively standard summon, that is not all there is to them. Lord Delarin can actually hit his own soldiers with his tail attacks, and by sending his magical barrier at them, which won't damage them, but will launch them at specific angles that allow him to position them on the fly. Keep in mind that the soldiers are still capable of performing their attacks in the air, so this can lead to some unique setups. Just like how he can eat his own summons, eat the summons of his opponents with his bite attacks, Lord Delarin can also eat his own soldiers, with it working exactly the same as when he eats any other summon, except if he is forced to spit them out. That soldier will actually turn on him and now belong to the opponent that freed them, acting as their summon instead. If Lord Delarin hits one of his own soldiers with his side smash, their pants will immediately be set on fire, and will launch themselves upward in the air before coming back down as the fire goes away, whether it's being useful for both positioning them, and because them going up actually has a strong hitbox. This is hilarious! I love this! Lord Delarin can also use his neutral special to transform a soldier into a stone block, and he can even turn them into a frog with the use of his side special, causing them to essentially become an edible healing item that will attempt to run away from Delarin, but only he can eat, unless another player is also playing as him. If Lord Delarin uses his up special while a soldier is on screen, he will actually trade places with that soldier with the puffs of smoke, having multiple purposes such as recovery, although this may end up with the soldier falling into the blast zone and getting KO'd, but I doubt Delarin even cares. Positioning, and many more potential situations. Although this may be predictable, as Delarin is only able to swap places with that specific soldier, and the ending lag on the move is still the same. And as for some things to note, turning a soldier into a stone block counts as them being KO'd, so Lord Delarin can immediately summon out another one. However, turning them into a frog or swallowing them will count as KOing them, and he will not be able to summon out another until he eats the frog or digests the soldier. Each time this move is used, the design of the soldier that is summoned will cycle between the three shown above, although there aren't any gameplay differences. It is purely aesthetic. We got a set of colorations, one based off the defaults: Triclide, Histocrat, Rattly, Saros, Coily Rattler, Arbok, and Survivor. I've said it multiple times today, but the fact that Nintendo doesn't do more stuff like this, being like, oh yeah, let's reference cross games, cross franchises. Wasted potential. Wasted potential. Side Taunt sticks his tongue out and hisses forward at his opponent, calling them a fool as he does so, or telling them to die. Up Taunt, Lord Delarin will reel in disgust at the sight of his opponent and scoff, saying, "Impudent worm." And Down Taunt, Lord Delarin laughs at his opponent, chuckling to himself. First victory, he laughs to himself and says, "I applaud you for lasting this long, however this ends now," and bares his fangs at the camera. Number 2 goes into hibernation, cooling himself up and going to sleep. And number 3 is seen in the distance as an army of Croakian soldiers march towards and past the camera, with him obscured by shadow and his lone eye glowing. Kirby gets his headpiece and neck covering, because that's fun. Gets little teeth when he has snake venom, that's adorable. And his title is the Royal Snake. I am assuming this is his sleep animation. Just shrinks down tremendously, appearing to be a tiny snoring snake with a snot bubble blowing from his nose before it pops. He wakes and grows to his massive size again. That was charming! I love MeatMage's movesets, because the normals are very simple, but they're all in the service of one just absolutely genius gimmick. In this case, it is the Gulp and the Down Smash Soldiers. Because the sheer amount of stuff that you can do with all the soldiers is absolutely fascinating. It is a really, really, really strong identity for the character to have. Would it ever happen? Absolutely not. But it is a very, very fun proof of concept. Okay. I want to with 3 left. Oh my gosh. Let's see. 1 second. I need to check how long these next ones are. to determine if I can actually physically do this, or if this is going to require having to split this into 2 separate streams. That's 57 pages. Okay. This one is 6. Yes, please. Thank you. And this one... Okay. Because I'm starting to feel... Like, you talk for so long that you can start to feel like your muscles in your mouth seizing up. I did that last episode, and that was an extremely unpleasant experience recovering from it. So... Hold on, let me check my calendar. Let me also put some music in the background just so people have something to listen to. Okay. Calendar. Okay. Here's the plan. So we are going to end off this first half of this stream today, because I don't want to keep, like, breaking myself over these concepts. It was nice being able to prove I could do it last episode, but it's an exhausting way to jump into the work week, and it just leads to exhaustion moving forward. Didn't you say that you were going to check this if I had time to avoid this problem? I did, but a lot of those went a lot longer than I expected them to. I was not expecting to spend an hour and 40 minutes on Darkstalkers and Paper Luigi. So, we're going to split this stream into 2 separate streams. Just trying to... I can't do Thursday. Friday is my brother's birthday. So, Saturday will be when we continue this off. So I'm just going to put this in chat form, just to make sure everybody sees it, just so everyone sees it. I will continue this stream on Saturday, the 11th. Same time as usual. Oh no, your voice isn't hurt. I know if I keep pushing it forward from this point, it will start to hurt a lot. It's not the voice, it's jaw stuff. But yeah. We got our first 5 phenomenal ideas. My gosh, the sheer adorableness of Paper Luigi is still sending me reeling. We also had the delightful exploration of Darkstalkers, the fantastic ideas with Mario Kart Frenzy, some lovely exploration of why isn't this a thing with Agent Happy Potato with all the custom skins, and of course, our beloved Lord Delarin. You saying there's going to be 3 peasants per second? Yeah, maybe. Actually, probably, yeah. Plus design dorks. Plus if I do another Pokemon... This is going to be a lot of streams. Okay, well, gotta prepare for that. But I will see you guys Saturday for the continuation of this. See you then.